Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here on a Saturday morning at 5:30 a.m. New Zealand time, ready to go for another match of the URC. This one, the Bulls, they will be taking on Connacht. Now, this is going to be an exciting game. Connacht last week, they tried to push the Stormers, but the defending champs just seemed to have that little bit too much in the tank to be able to be taken down by the men wearing the green. But looking through at the way that the table sits currently, as you can see, Ulster and Leinster both sitting on the 10 points. Those two sides play each other in about 2 and a bit hours' time. So one side's going to be a little bit higher, and the other could still find themselves sitting on around that 11 or 12 points. Then the Bulls, they have got 2 from 2. So they will be looking to make it 3 from 3 after this game up against a strong Irish side, Connacht, who don't actually find themselves in the top 11, but in dead last, number 16 in the competition. It will certainly change by the end of the competition, though. I would say they will manage to get themselves up around that mid-table, but hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you're excited for this game as we are only 5 minutes away from it kicking off. But looking through at the starting lineup and reserves for these two sides, I hope I put up the right one. I believe this is the Bulls. Yes, it is. And straight away, the thing that catches your eye is that back line. But we will start with the 4-pack. It's going to be Stennekamp, also Johan Grobbelaar, a very dangerous number 2. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do here. And then it will be Klopper there at number 3. Volt Stenkamp and Ruan Nokia will be slotting in as the locks. Marcel Kutzer, the captain, Marco van Staden, and Heinrich Loh. Very strong loose forward trio here for the VODACOM Bulls. Zach Berger and Johan Husson will be the 9 and 10 combo. David Creel and Cornel Hendricks in the centres. And then this back 3, like I mentioned, Sebo Unkosi recently signed for the Bulls. Cannon Moody recently making his Springbok debut, and the same can be said about the man at number 15. And both of these two individuals, Moody and Arinsur, have both managed to get themselves a try on their Springbok debut. So it's certainly an explosive backline and one that Connacht do need to watch out for. Looking through at this Connacht side, one big name that was always going to be missing here, Bundy Aki. He has got an 8-week suspension, which does mean he's going to be missing for quite some time, but it will be Buckley, Heffernan, and Finley Bilham in the front row for Feta and Dowling as the locks. And then Josh Murphy, number 6, very talented youngster, Oliver and Butler as the loose forward trio. Marmion will be playing half. Hawkshaw starts at 10 to come off the bench in last week's fixture. Daly at 12, Farrell at 13, and then Matt Hansen, John Porch, and also McNulty finds himself slotting in as the fullback. So a very good back 3 for Connacht in this fixture as well. Solid front row there, says Gareth, and hope you are doing very well, mate. Currently 5:30 a.m. New Zealand time, which does mean, are you guys in South Africa 6:30 p.m.? Or is it actually the other way now? I know that daylight saving meant it was no longer the nice, easy 10 hours or so to work on. Now it's kind of gone a little bit each way, but looking through at the benches, there's actually coverage beginning in my eardrums, so which is a very good start. But for Cardiff, that's the wrong lineup. There was always going to be one technical difficulty with this being one of the earliest games that we do end up covering. Have I got 2 Cardiffs? I have got 2 Cardiffs. Okay, so we don't actually have the benches for this game, I don't believe, unless you want to see the bench for Hawke's Bay versus Tasman. But looking through at the benches, there's some pretty handy players who will be coming off them. I'll quickly get those up on my other screen. And yep, 6:30, says Gareth there. So the benches, it is going to be Jan Hendrik Wessels, Martin Zema, Mornay Smith, Janko Swanepoel, Reinhard Ludwig, also Ambrose Papia, Chris Smith, and Lionel Mapo for the Bulls. Then for the Connacht boys, it will be Grant Stewart, Peter Dooley, and also Jack Ungera, whose name I always say very badly. So hopefully he doesn't get too much time throughout this match. Normally when I say that, though, they end up out on the field extremely quickly due to an injury. So hopefully that isn't the case there. Gavin Thornberry, Seamus Hurley-Langdon, also Colin Riley, Byron Ralston. He was actually in the starting lineup last week in the midfield. And then Kieran Booth going to be slotting in at number 23. High all Bulls to win by 15 plus points. Says Johannes, there is a big possibility that we see that. Connacht, they've got a couple tough games in a row. They did play the Stormers in South Africa last week, and now they find themselves with a man down due to that Bundy Aki suspension. Now they are pretty much, I want to say, in the lion's den, but what would you call it? A bull enclosure that they find themselves in at the moment, trying to fight against the VODACOM Bulls, who will certainly be a top contender in this season. Some have even picked them as the South African side to go on and win the competition. We have got Hey from T7 and also Scrum Less is here. Hey, howdy, hey, yo, go Connacht, says Scrum Less there as well. And they are just making their way out onto the field now. Like I mentioned, these two sides. This one has the potential for fireworks. Now, my brain theoretically should still be half asleep. This is the earliest game on a Saturday morning we have actually covered on the channel in, it's about a year, to be honest. A Saturday morning game normally is either 6:45 or 7:45 for us here in New Zealand. This is a whole new level. And Bulls with a bonus point. And hey, Katie says, Gareth, and also, hey, brother, I hope you're well, says Scrum Less. And they are now the Bulls. They are making their way out onto the field. They are going to be a Loftus Versfeld for this matchup, and the crowd are well and truly getting behind them, led by Marcel Kutzer. He's got a lot of caps to his name. He's definitely got a position in that Springboks emerging 15. Speaking of that, we saw the Irish emerging 15 do very well up against the Requas. And watch your Hamish, says Darren Smith. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing very well. It is going to be Andrea Pirodari. Maybe something along those lines for the pronunciation. I feel like that will be hopefully the worst pronunciation of my day. We've got a lot of live streams lined up. So yeah, fingers crossed that is the one that we do struggle with. The Bulls, they will be kicking off from left to right. Little bit of a crowd in attendance by the looks of it. A lot of blue seats do not have blue Bulls supporters in them though. So hopefully as the season progresses, we do see a few more close to sold out performances. But now Johan Hussen gets us underway. The Bulls kick deep into the Connacht 22, and straight away Tom Daly will be kicking it into touch. He's done very well. Isn't Tom Daly also the name of a synchronized diver? If I'm not wrong, is that the British guy, the fella from the UK? I was about will do, the Bulls will do well. If we don't win the season, Stormers for the double. So much rugby on 10 out of 10, says Scrum Less. Yeah, at the moment, I believe in the next 2 hours, or in fact, yeah, almost 2 hours' time, there's going to be Lions versus Cardiff, also Leinster versus Ulster, the Irish derby, and then alongside that as well, there is going to be a Bristol Bears game. Now, they're going for the rolling maul here, I should say. Rowan Nokia does well to keep it in the field of play. Mako van Staden tries to run it backwards a little bit. Currently sitting on the 22, Johan Hussen. He's going to be a very interesting prospect in number 10 for this season. I know a lot of people have been rumoring, maybe with the fact that they had so many injuries and other business at fly half, Johan Hussen could have a chance. That's a terrible pass there from Zach Berger. Gives it straight to Connacht, but they will be going back for the original advantage. Tom Daly just a little bit disappointed about that one. The Bulls, they've got an easy 3 points if they want it here. I'm excited about the Falcons and the Bears, says Scrum Less. Yeah, there's some good matches. I mean, tomorrow in the Gallagher Premiership, you're looking at Saracens versus Leicester Tigers, which should also be a top contenders battle, I guess you could say. And I know a lot of people are still waiting for a couple more South African derbies come around the corner for the URC. I think this is Ulster's year. South African teams going to struggle with depth with the shortening squad, or the shortened squads that they implemented. Oh, that's a good rolling maul, though. That's going to be extremely hard to stop. They break over the top. I don't know whether he's got that down, though. Yes, he has. And it's going to be Johan Grobbelaar, who has already got himself the try. Only 2 minutes in. If you have money on this man to score the first try, you will be very happy at the moment. But I don't think he would have been paying that much, because that rolling maul try of the Bulls has been looking the goods. Just a stampede of running towards the line from the Bulls. Connacht, they tried to defend it with 3 men, which was never quite going to be enough to stop about 3 or 4 or 5, in fact, Bulls players all rolling towards the line. Johan Grobbelaar manages to find that gap. He's wearing the red headgear. Normally that attracts the Bulls, and he got the high fives from his teammates in the process of scoring it. And that will be now Johan Hussen with a kick for the goalpost. That was quick. That was very quick to score the first try of the match. I'm just wondering, is this actually, this might be not true, is this the earliest URC game in terms of in a week that we have had so far? Because I know, like I mentioned, they normally have those games starting at about 7:30 or 6:30 New Zealand time. Is this the earliest that they've actually had a game take place? It would be interesting to find out that is the case, but I think they want to check this one. They might just want to check Okay, I believe the referee is Italian, and I don't speak Italian, so I'm not too sure what he said there, but I assume it's not. It's a try. We'll move on. I think they want to go upstairs and check this one. I wish we were all sat in a pub right now, sipping beverages like a bunch of sirs, and just watching the rugby together. Love you, fam. Says it's scrumless. And there's, oh, it is good to have you here. Of course, speaking of drinking, normally the Irish, they can drink anyone under the table when they need to. South African, they can barbecue anyone under the table if they have to. Get the braai going. It's a good combination, these two sides, so maybe a bit of a party going on after this. Right, they're going upstairs now. They want to have a quick look at this. So, I guess the big question is this still going to remain a try? And what is it that they're looking for? I believe it could be for it disjoining, but then also Johan Grobler maybe not being able to get that ball down. Was my first reaction, but they did blow it pretty quick. And also we have got there is the earliest game in South Africa, says Johannes Payne. So yeah, that would be on the Saturday, isn't it? Because we're currently Friday night in South Africa, if I'm not wrong there. Right, what we're looking at. They're checking the pass, I believe, from the rolling maul. I think that's fine. Because I think that's just a set play gone right. So the only thing that stops it from being a try is if Johan Grobler does not get that ball down. Unless, momento, I believe the TMO is also Italiano. But I think the only other thing is if they're checking to see if this is a penalty try and a yellow card. Possibly for Kieran Marmion, but I mean, you got to feel for the number 9. He's getting crushed by about 5 different Bulls players there in the process. Oh, okay. See, I'm not a referee, so I don't know all the fancy rules, but I believe what they're saying is Marcel Kutzer is slightly ahead of Vodstenkamp, which then means that because of that, he's making initial contact with a Connacht player, making it difficult to make the tackle. They're saying it's a flying wedge against blue. Now, the last time I heard about a flying wedge was probably in PE because people were throwing around the gym equipment, but that's going to be... It's going to be a no try, I believe. This is going to be a big decision in this match. Connacht are happy. They've dodged a bullet big time. Marcel Kutzer, not very happy with that one. Okay, there are 2-player touch. It is flying wedge. Okay, that is the ruling, flying wedge. Okay, Marcel Kutzer just asking the question of how it all works. And those were the days, says Scrumless. Yeah, I don't know who decided that would be a good idea to try and get a group of about year 9s doing stuff with different shaped, I guess, giant foam things. It was always going to be trouble. It's like how we had to do something called the confidence course, which pretty much involved doing an obstacle style course, but then you had to do it blindfolded. So that was a very risky game to be playing. I think only like 2 kids fell from relatively high, but other than that, it was all good. It was a good learning experience. Now, Connacht have been able to survive that one. Like I mentioned, that's going to be 3 minutes into the contest and about 20 meters out from their own line here for Connacht. Okay, the referee wants them to go a little bit quicker. I believe just getting the call there was Dennis Buckley. And the line-out throw from Dave Heffernan goes in. Nicely done by Connacht. Marmion goes across. Got some big ball runners, though, for Connacht. Definitely when it comes to trying to get those extra couple meters. And we was robbed, Irish Bay World Rugby, to make us lose, says Gareth there. I mean, I was interested throughout the week, or intrigued's probably the better word, with the Bundy Arki suspension. Because Bundy Arki, for his challenge last week on Sinatla, he got 8 weeks as the ban, which is pretty big compared with Darcy Swain, who went for the ligaments. He only got the 6 weeks. So it's interesting to see how they judge them differently depending on now I've forgotten the word. Hemisphere, that's the one. making up my own words for a second there. Johan Horsen tries to run it straight up the line. Has been dragged down pretty nicely. Currently 40 metres out. It looks like Zach Berger is considering going for a couple big hits up with a Marcel Kutsia. And then might go for the box gate. I have my tinfoil hat on. Says Gareth and Ogre Lord says, Scrum lads, my most vivid memory I have of PE is when the outdoor metal play equipment would get all heated up in the sun, and then you touch it and you get third-degree burns on your hands. That seems like something that shouldn't be allowed at a school, just as a guess. I remember doing tennis for PE, but we were on the concrete courts. For some reason, I decided it would be a good idea to go barefoot, and I got a blister pretty much the size of my big toe underneath my big toe. But I was tearing it up on the tennis court, though. So I guess that was one thing. That's going to be another penalty to Connacht. No clear release against Gerhard Stennekamp there. Okay, South Africa have to be, the Bulls need to be a little bit careful here. Connacht are just marching themselves up the field like 10 to 20 metres at a time. David Hawkshaw going to be now kicking this one for touch. And 8 weeks is the same length as an eye gouging ban. So I'm sure, or I'm not sure how it works. Bundy probably got added time for his reaction. Swain should have got more straight up, says Gareth. And there as well, yeah. Like, it was interesting. Like, Bundy Aki, you could see how frustrated he was. So maybe they did take that into consideration. But, yeah, Swain, you'd have to say he's still a little bit of a repeat offender. At the end of the day, he headbutted a man only a few weeks prior in the English and Australian tour. And I was like, yeah, that's what I like, or what it's like to go to school in Florida. Everything bakes in the sun and your life becomes a game of survival. In New Zealand bagging all the curry plates, says Pinar van Veek. Hopefully I've said that correctly. If I'm not wrong there, nice quick hands. Oh, stolen. Curtly Arinsis. Speaking of stars, this man is definitely one in the making. He scored one for the Box and now he scored one for the Bulls. First game for the URC in this season. And also we've got there when we see an AB's SB final again. SB, I believe that Springboks, unfortunately, I don't think the 2023 World Cup is going to allow it, sadly. I know that all four sides in terms of France, Ireland, South Africa, and New Zealand are all on the same side of the draw, which would mean New Zealand would have to beat either France or Ireland. South Africa would have to beat either France or Ireland. So I believe in that case, it would be South Africa would have to beat France, New Zealand have to beat Ireland, and then maybe they just get a chance of meeting in a Rugby World Cup final. That would be an absolutely huge game, though. If that was the case, right? They aren't checking this one. And also, we've got the Ulster versus Leinster, big game of the weekend, says Luke Conway. That's going to be an epic encounter. The Irish derby, Johan Horsen, has got that one over. So 7 minutes in, and this time the Bulls are able to add themselves the points on the board. That was low and dangerous from Bundy. The impact could have snapped his opposition, says Nathan there. Yeah, it was not a good challenge. And it's kind of, I'm curious to know how they differentiate weak bans, if that makes sense. Because it seems to be a little bit tricky to work out how they go. Because I know that, I think Sinutla's quite badly injured, isn't he? He actually had to go to surgery, get it fixed. And yeah, Bundy definitely deserved a red, says Gareth there. So now he's going to be out for the 8 weeks, which brings you through to about round 11 of the URC. In fact, Matt Hansen tried to take that one. Wasn't quite able to keep that one in the field of play, though. Kicked out on the full. And now the Bulls will have it on the halfway. And also, as the replay in the highlights, I missed it. So it will be the Connacht versus Bulls game. No, sorry, that's this game. It will be the Connacht versus Stormers game. That's your better option. And it's when Connacht are going from left to right. So I believe it's in the second half that Bundy Aki ended up getting the red card. I would assume it's in the highlights, though, somewhere on, is it Premier Sports that do the URC highlights? Or do they have a URC channel? And Aki gets carded often. Nice hands, though. Says Pina. And there, and also you can just search Bundy Red on YouTube, and thank you so very much, says Scrumless. There's our now on the halfway line. Who's got this ball? It's going to just be on the side of the ball. Zach Berger goes short to Johan Horsen. Now it's another one. Cornell Hendricks. Ball on the outside. Can it move? I just swallowed a really big amount of air. Zach Berger, though, goes off. Stenkamp reaches. He doesn't get it down now. Zach Berger does, though. And that is another try for the Bulls. Their second of the match. I thought I was like a land-breathing creature for half a second there. An awesome first game in 9 months, and it is absolutely tremendous to see that man back. He's looking like he's fitting in beautifully, but Connor Moody tries to go forward. And yeah, I think that was when I almost forgot what oxygen was. Then Vlad Stenkamp got very close to being able to get himself over the line, just short. Chad has said hello. Welcome in, Chad. Hope you're doing well. And now it is Johan Horsen who will once again line up this kick. I do see that the scoreboard is a little bit ahead today on my side. Hello there, Chad. Says Scrum less there as well. Horsen has got that one over. And the Bulls now, the fact that they've already had a disallowed try and they now find themselves on 14 points to nil after about 10 minutes makes it a very dangerous game for Connacht here. They need to stop this momentum or else you could see the Bulls start to really run away with this one. Bulls dangerous, says Gareth, exactly right. Seems like they're very clinical throughout this URC so far. They are 2 wins from 2, getting themselves the win over the Lions and then getting themselves the win last week, I want to say it was, and they were versing someone whose name I've forgotten, unfortunately, but I know they versed someone. We probably covered the game, which makes it slightly worse. Did we miss that game? We might have missed that game. We might be able to save ourselves. What was the score last night, says Chad? So if you are talking about the Bunnings NBC game, in the end, it was Hawke's Bay. They were able to win it by 8 points over Tasman, and it worked out to be about 42 points in total. But the split, I can't quite remember what it was, but the 8 points difference between those two sides. Currently, Connacht have got this ball. Nice work from Connor Moody trying to stop it in the breakdown. That's going to be an advantage, though. I believe the Bulls' defense just got a little bit too quick there. Marcel Klitzer around the side. Great body position from Johan Grobbler, so they will be going back for the penalty. Edinburgh, that's the team. And also, we have got the Are Your Fans, says Chad. Do appreciate it very much, mate. And Edinburgh this weekend, they actually find themselves up against the Stormers, which should be an interesting one. Eskom Low versus Stoughton. Pack of Wild Dogs in the back row, says Pena. Yep. It's a tough one, that is for sure. And then the thing is, this back line, I have to say at the moment, it's got to be close to the most dangerous in the URC. You look through Zach Berger, Johan Hulsen returning to the side. He looks like he's picking up from where he left off. Then you got Seba Unkosi, the speedster, out on one wing. David Krau and Cornel Hendricks. Cornel Hendricks, one of the best players for South Africa in the URC last year. Connor Moody out on the other wing, got a bit more confidence now that he's had a bit of a run at Bok level. And then Kurtley Arunse, recently returning from his injury. First game of the season already, getting himself close to scoring a try. In fact, he did score. It was Connor Moody who narrowly ended up missing out. That's an interesting choice from Connacht there, and I have to say I don't necessarily agree with it. They're 14 points down, 12 minutes into the game, and they decided they wanted to go for the 3 points. All well and good, but the kick is missed. So now you find yourself sitting in that situation of being 14-0 down, and now Johan Horsen is able to give it an almighty heave down the field. Connacht beat all the South Africa teams last year, says Pena there. They are a dark horse, Connacht, and I do enjoy watching them play. They've got quite an attacking style of rugby, which I think is why I found it so surprising that they did decide to go for the 3 points, and they have now actually kicked it out on the full. So that hurts them just a little bit more there. All right, lads, says Graham, who scored for the Bulls. So 2 tries we've seen so far. Well, we almost saw 3. We almost saw Johan Grobbler get one, but that one got disallowed. But the first try was scored by Kurtley Arunse, and then the last try that we just saw was Zach Berger after a very good run from Connor Moody, which I almost choked while commentating. Slightly unfortunate, but yeah, very nice try being scored by the Bulls, and they are not done yet. Nice short ball to Cornel Hendricks. Seems like they are. Oh, that's going to be a penalty to Connacht, going them through the side of the breakdown. I want to say that was actually the man who I just praised, Cornel Hendricks there. Matt Hansen pretty happy with that penalty. Where's your mum? She is currently sleeping. It is 5:50 a.m. here in New Zealand. So, very early morning game on a Saturday. I believe that this is the only Saturday morning game we are going to be covering. I was initially going to be doing the Lions versus Cardiff or Leinster versus Ulster. But I believe this is our solo one for the morning. And then after that, I'll probably end up going to sleep, waking up for the Bunnings NPC, and we have got the URC game and the Premiership that are taking place tomorrow afternoon. Or tomorrow night, I should say, New Zealand time, but tomorrow afternoon for you guys in South Africa and in Ireland. Currently on the 22, Connacht throws it in. It is Heffernan. We'll now regather it at the back of the rolling maul. Now the Bulls, like we mentioned, they're full of very, very solid individuals. Heffernan tries to go around the side, but Zach Berger able to drag him down on the 22. Now might look to go off to the right-hand side. Berger trying to be a disruption type factor at the breakdown. Quickly recycled, nicely done. Oh, it's going to be dropped by Murphy. Or did he know? He just hung onto it by the fingertips. Now, nice step from Hawkshaw. It's another advantage against the Bulls for being offside. That is more than once. We have seen that already in the first 15 minutes of the contest, even though my scoreboard only says 10. Oh, time off now. It's going to be another warning. It's a yellow card. Right. That is a little bit of a bumper straight into it. So that is actually going to be Mako van Starden. Gets himself a yellow card. And he will be going to the bin for the 10 minutes. So this is the chance that Connacht need to get back into it. I love how Bundyaki was shown the red card and then he immediately looked at the ref. It was like, fight me, says Scrum. And I all just started listening from Bethel, says the Lawrence there. And thank you, sir. Just in the door now to watch it. They should be too much for Connacht without Aki and Cardi here. Two massive players for Connacht going to be out of this game. And the Bulls, like I mentioned, their backline's looking immense for this URC competition. And I cannot wait to see them take on the Stormers because I think that's going to be a game that really decides who has momentum in the early stages. That's going to be a nice cross check. A very nice one. But Kurtley Alrinsir has been able to clean it up. And they will now be going back for the initial penalty in favour of Connacht. And just came from work. My boss gave me the weekend off. Now, does he know that you are a rugby fan, Lawrence? Because if he does, that is the type of boss that I think everyone wants because you've got the Gallagher Premiership, you've got the URC, the top 14, the Bunnings NBC, you've got the Toyota Challenge Cup that's taking place at the moment with the Curry Cup sides and the emerging Irish. So you've got a lot of rugby that you've got on the table. And if you're a rugby league kind of guy, you've got the grand final as well. And also Saturday morning Super Rugby versus New Zealand teams. And at New Zealand, was such a ritual, says Pinar there, and go the Bulls, says Chad. And what a guy, 10 out of 10, says Grumless. I'm in Fiji, says Chad. So also must be, it's an early morning start for yourself as well. Man, I used to love it, 8:30 a.m. on a Saturday watching a game against the Crusaders, says Gareth. Now the rolling maul once again goes. Heffernan 5 metres out from the line here for Connacht. The rolling maul, they have been told to stay there. I believe that is mainly Gerhard Stennekamp who finds himself on the side of the Connacht at the moment for the rolling maul, kind of pushing against his own side, you could say. Now Heffernan going to be just driven into touch. That is massive power right there from Johan Grobbelaar. If he isn't in the emerging Springbok 15 side, I don't know what he's got to do because he scores tries, he's powerful, and he's just made a massive tackle. That man was about 3 or 4 metres infield and just managed to bulldoze him towards the touchline. Yes, he knows, says Lawrence there. And Dan went for first half under 26. Doesn't look good, says Wet Willie. Please tell me you didn't put all of the money you won last night on it, Wet Willie. I hope you have cashed out for that one. But yeah, big win for yourself, Zach Berger. Nice sell of the dummy. He's going through now. He's got a support man on the outside and the inside. He goes with a man on the outside. Now David Krill, what can he do? He kicks it in behind. Mac Hansen tries to get back, cleans it up, puts it down, and it's a goal line dropout. David Krill just never quite had the pace to be able to outrun, I believe it was Mac Hansen and also David Hawkshaw, who's got quite a bit of speed to him, but he is not a rugby fan, says Lawrence there. Yeah, very generous of him to give you the weekend off. Yeah, David Krill, he went with the kick. Cannon Moody tried to accelerate, but the Irish just a little bit too quick at the back. Glad to hear some people having bosses that are not absolute knobheads, minus, which is why I missed the NBC games earlier today. Hope you're well, Hamish, Master H, Big Sexy H. I don't think I've ever been called that before, Sebastian. Don't know if it will catch on, but it's great to see you here once again. Tell you what, I haven't heard your take on the Quins game last week. I know it's probably one that's a tough one to talk about in some regards, but what a game, just to say the very least. 33 points to 7 down at halftime. To then go back, take the lead, and then big man down the wing, getting the try at the last moment for the Exeter Chiefs. I think that was one of the best Gallagher Premiership games I've seen in a long time, and I almost lost my voice. Well done, it probably went too big. Got excited, says Wet Willie. That is the hard part, is not going with a massive bid after you, or not a bid, a bet after you have just been successful. And Saturday mornings will never be the same, says Pinar. Why? What are the teams? Because I came late, says Chad. So while we are at it, we might as well show you guys the starting lineup and reserves. And all I need to say about this Bulls outfit is, boy, that's a good backline. They have got Zach Berger, Johan Husson, David Creel, Cornell Hendricks, and then Sibo Nkosi, Cannon Moody, and then Kurtley Arunsa is there as well. And Arunsa already scoring himself a try for the first time this year. For the Bulls, Mako van Staden, he finds himself in the bin currently due to, I believe, a lifting tackle, and it might have also been offside in the process. So not really a lot going for that man. For that one, they just went for the drop kick attempt there from the Bulls, but Johan Husson just not quite getting it right. These are the lineups, or this is the second lineup, I should say, and it is going to be for Connacht in this match. Finley Bilham, keep an eye out for him. He can be dangerous. And the thing is, he's dangerous not just at a scrum, but also pretty handy when it comes to running the ball hard. Now, Johan Husson, that is a class kick. He's gone straight out to Cannon Moody, who's wrestled into touch by big Tom Farrell there. Now, I almost said that Tom Farrell had come from, I was thinking of Leinster, but I think that's Chris Farrell that I was getting myself a little bit confused with. And the pass was forward. Ian Tempest is the rugby pariah in there as well, says Scrum Lass. And also, are you doing the Lions or Ulster game, says Whip Willie. It's ended up that I did have the Ulster-Cardiff game. No, sorry, that's 2 games, isn't it? I did have the Lions versus Cardiff game scheduled. Did I just say the same thing, just in a different order? I did have the Lions versus Cardiff game scheduled, but then I got to bed a lot later than I should have tonight. I actually am running off an hour of sleep, so I believe I am going to be sleeping till the Bunnings NPC, which is a bit of a shame because I did want to watch those games live, but I think for the sake of being able to cover the URC tomorrow night, plus the Gallagher Premiership and the NPC, I feel like the only way to do so is probably to get a little bit of sleep before those that little bit of a rugby marathon we'll find ourselves on. But yeah, I would have loved to cover it. It's just, I think my eyeballs would struggle. I feel like I've already seen some weird stuff on this live stream as well from the sleep deprivation, which is why you never quite know what to expect on a Kiwi Lad stream. But turnovers conceded 4 against Connacht at this point of the match. Not exactly what you want. And Ice Scrum Lads says it was Chad there, and also Chris Schmidt knocked himself out, scoring a try in the Toyota Challenge earlier. How do you knock yourself out? Chris Schmidt. So, like, slamming the head down on the ball or something like that? Or was it just a little bit of a freak accident, I guess you could say? Actually, my weekend off was a surprise to me as well. And I think it is thanks to the work I've done in Big Love Lads. I don't know. Can't really find words of what happened at the end of that game. I learned to suck it up, be grateful for the 2 points earned, and move on, said Sebastian. Yeah, at the end of the day, Quins to get 2 points in that game seemed impossible at times throughout it. Oh, it's a forward pass from Connacht when they tried to work it out from their own 22. Now it will be the scrum feed for the Bulls. With one man disadvantage, this backline's still going to be as dangerous as ever for the Bulls. And what time is Lions versus Cardiff? That will be kicking off in 1 hour and 37 minutes time. So, yeah, not too far away. It's going to be on Spark Sport here in New Zealand, or Super Sport, I believe, is the option in South Africa for that match. And also at the same time, it is Ulster versus Leinster. So quite a few matches all taking place at a similar time zone. Right. I think they're going to be just checking on Finley Bilham. Why do I do that? I always jinx players. As soon as I say this is a player to watch, or this is a player who's very handy, they either get injured or they give away the penalty. There he is. Hang on. That's Chris Farrell. Isn't that? Who am I? Oh, Chris Harris. That's the one I'm thinking of. That makes sense. But Connacht, in their games, they have conceded 36 points and 38 points. The Bulls are on target to try and get towards that. Although 20 minutes down, Willie, your bet might not be a terrible one at this point in time. I'm just going to go up under 26. Okay, so you need a couple kicks missing maybe. And also 2:05 p.m. in the NPC. So yeah, I believe the first game we are covering for the NPC is Auckland versus Taranaki. So a little bit later on in the afternoon. And yeah, I have a little theory that Isaac might be down from Christchurch. Maybe. Because he sent me a message last night. I can't remember who it was who asked about the F1, but Isaac did say that he thought Max Verstappen would also get himself the title. But he said, guess where I am? And normally guess where I am only is about 2 places, which is either Waimate or just maybe up the road 30 minutes or so. And the Top Gear presenter, Chris Harris, was he also Top Gear presenter, was he? Are there multiple Chris Farrells? Chris Harris. Chris Harris, isn't he is he the ex-cricketer for New Zealand as well? Or is that someone else, Harris? Who is that? That might have been Chris Harris as well, actually. That's going to be a penalty to Connacht. Nice work in the breakdown there. I believe that was the number 7, Connor Oliver, keeping that body position low. And all of these guys now want to try and find their way into that emerging 15. At the end of the day, if you're a little way off, getting an Irish call-up, that is the place to be. And we're going to see a lot of young talent coming out of Ireland, I think, in the near future with the way that their URC sides have been playing. I see there's a little bit of an injury in the back play. Chris Harris, Scotland centre. Yeah. So he's Chris Harris. There's also a couple other. Chris Farrell. He is the Irish head coach. There is Tom Farrell in this game. No relation that I know of. And then also, was it Chris Harris who was the New Zealand cricketer? Or have I got the wrong guy? I know his last name was Harris anyway. Now it's going to be the box kick. Kieran Marmion looking to put this one. No, he doesn't. He decides instead to fire it out the back line. Risky tactic. Oh, a little bit of a handling error from Hawkshaw. Great hands, though, in the midfield from, and it was Oren McNulty. He was one of the standouts in the game up against the Stormers for Connacht, I felt. Did seem to be everywhere out on the field. Nice work in the breakdown almost by the big man, Gerard Steenekamp. It's going to be the advantage to the Connacht boys. Now finding the inside pass to Kieran Marmion. Goes across to Heffernan. Great low tackle made on him. Textbook technique from Francois Klopper. Now Matt Hansen playing first receiver rather than being out on his wing. Instead out on his wing, though, it's going to be McNulty. Breaks through the tackle with Canon Moody, who might have... No, he didn't hurt himself. I think he was just juggling a little bit while running back. Flick pass. Nice work from Matt Hansen. Made it awkward. But looks like they're still going to just have their hands on this ball now. Big run forward from Josh Murphy. Murphy, I should say. Now available once again back across Matt Hansen. It's a bounce pass. It hasn't worked out, and now it's going to be kicked downfield by David Creel, who didn't get the kick on that one that he was after. Heffernan's left it to go out the back so that Connacht can still retain possession, currently sitting on the halfway line in a game that has been quite a frantic pace at times throughout the last little while. But Matt Hansen, looked for the ball. Now, quick tap taken by Kieran Marmion. That was actually really poor from Sebo Nkosi. He was sitting on his heels rather than being back. Maybe got a little bit of an injury here for Sebo Nkosi because he just doesn't look like he's running the way that he normally would. Tackle release. The call from the referee. But Connacht, they give away the penalty there. It's a player down on his back. Oh, and he's just been sat on by Zach Berger just to make it worse. Would you like fries with that? Zach Berger asks. Now, I believe, so in the end, the Bulls, I want to say it was Heinrich Lowe. Was it? No, it wasn't. It was actually Zach Berger who got over the ball, did very nicely. I hope I didn't just accidentally pull out the plug of my microphone. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Okay. At the moment, I believe the referee has just had a bit of a chat there. Yeah, Canon Moody here is injured. I thought he looked like he was doing a little bit of the stanky leg as he was walking back, some little bit of a wobble. And I believe that's why, because he has hurt himself there overall. And I think Sebo Nkosi, either he is injured or he just wasn't really trying that much out of the wing. But Maka van Staden, they showed him doing 2 push-ups. He was going to continue doing them, but I think 2 is about my limit at the moment. 25 minutes through, they're playing a little bit of... What is this song? Is this Journey? Don't Stop Believing? It is. There you go. A little bit of historicness comes to the songs. Oh, Lionel Mapo actually going to be the man, makes his way out into the park. So I think that is for Canon Moody. They don't want to risk him in his first game back for the Bulls. Actually, there's another injury by the looks of it as well here. And this time, I think it is that Johan Grobbelaar who's injured? It is. So now Andre or Jan Hensel Wessels will be making his way out onto the field. Big change. And I think they've actually had to make 2 changes. Oh, no, Lionel Mapoa has been told he's not allowed to run out onto the field just yet. It must not be too far away from having that yellow card back up. But now Mapoa actually out there for Moody. So they lost 2 players and 1 for the Bulls. And I mentioned the depth that they have. It's going to start getting tested here if they keep on ending up with so many injuries. They have been told to use it once. So it is going backwards now. 25 minutes through the game at the moment. Zach Birger goes back across. It's going to be the first receiver there, David Creel. He's lost the ball. He hasn't had the best game at this point in time. Heffernan, though, passes it across. Got a run from John Porch. Now one more. Quick hands off to Farrell. Mac Hansen receives the flat pass. Tries to look for the pass on the inside, but instead tries to step around Zach Birger. I'm back, says Jab. Welcome back, mate. Hope you are doing very well indeed. Now the pass out. It's going to be Butler and number 8 getting involved. Now Marmion. Oh, that was almost going to be a big shot there, but well dodged by Hawkshaw there to be able to avoid that contact that was coming at him. Now another big run from, I believe that time it was Lever Fafita. John Porch goes back to Mac Hansen. He has dropped the ball. Did they still have advantage? They certainly did not. And breaking news, hooker injured during work in Pretoria, South Africa, says Edoa Sebastian there as well. It's a shame, once again. I jinx every single player who I say is going to be decent. Like Johan Grobbelaar, I was like, he's definitely going to get himself in the South Africa 15, and now he might not get to play in November, depending on how serious that injury is. But the yellow card has been, he's done his time. Mako van Staden. So he's back out on the park now, and it will be Jan Henrik Wessels about to go for this line-out throw. Possession so far, though, 60% in favour of Connacht. I thought it was raining, but it's just my PC deciding it's a Formula 1 car. Now, off the back, Mako van Staden looks hard at the line. He's just driven straight over the top of Lever Fafita. That's not an easy thing to do. Now kicked it behind. Mac Hansen takes it nicely, but they're going back for the initial penalty. I believe that's actually going to be in the favour of Connacht, who go with the tap and go. That is a tactic that I've used quite a bit throughout this match. He's looked for touch, or he didn't really mean to. I think he tried to kick it in behind, but it just didn't quite work out. So they've blown the penalty chance by going for the quick tap. I think Connacht, they're just getting a little bit ahead of themselves here. They've got a great backline. They've got a good forward back, but they're panicking. They're taking quick taps more often than I've ever seen them do so. I guess they want to try and slow down the Bulls, but with the amount of water breaks we're going to have, you're probably looking at about 2 water breaks a half. Just don't think it's going to have that same effectiveness if you do try and keep on going quick and quick again. Although, if Jan Henrik Wessels gets this throw wrong, which he does, he does, it's not straight. Okay, I was going to say he did get it right because it went to his teammate, but unfortunately his teammate caught it straight out in front of him. So it becomes a scrum for Ireland, which is pretty massive because they blew the opportunity, but now it's right back there for them. Currently, win prediction has 90% for the Bulls and 9% for Connacht. I always wonder why it doesn't have the odds on the New Zealand TAB for the URC, seeing as it has, I think, every other competition. It's a little bit interesting in that regard. We are going to go like this. There we go. Now there's going to be the scrum fee put in by Connacht. And great, says Keaton Ashwin. And yet another jinx added to the list, says Sebastian. I'm pretty good at that. Jinxing players is something I do best, I think. And I think they have a mind thing about the Bulls. And 17-18, says Jad. And please don't do any Sharks games, says Gareth. I mean, after that game up against Zebre, I think that's the thing. Zebre are actually looking, in a weird, it sounds weird to say, they're looking pretty good this year. Like, I don't know what's happened between last year and this year, but are they actually, no, they're not. Okay, never mind. I thought they were almost in the top 11, but they have got themselves 2 points so far, 2 losing bonus points up against Leinster and the Sharks. 2 sides that normally do very well in the competition. If anything is to go off by for last year, Okay. These two big four backs clashing there. Gerhard Stenkamp goes down pretty quickly. So they will be keeping a close eye on the scrum feed on the 22. Connacht, though, a good opportunity to try and get themselves some points. Currently 29 in. Have we still got Willie in the chat? Do let me know. I'll never get used to saying that and trying to keep a straight face while doing so. He had under 26 points. A quick start to the match for the Bulls, but under 26 might be just around the corner. Hello again, says Chad. Welcome back, even though you didn't go anywhere. Welcome again, Chad. Now, Mac Hansen, nice flat ball off into the hands of Farrell Cornell. Hendricks gets over the ball. In fact, this time it's Seba Unkosi. Very similar to what we see from Sever Reese going in. And now Seba Unkosi has done very nicely there. And at the side, I don't think we've seen him actually run with the ball yet at this stage, Unkosi. Now, Johan Husson with a lot of strapping on that leg. Oh, the ball bounces into Dutch. That will be annoying for Connacht because they've been trying to play this game at a fast pace, and the Bulls have just played that kick at a fast pace, and they've rewarded or been rewarded. I'm watching for Sebastian bring out his smiting hammer. Oh, I'm waiting for Sebastian, and there says Gareth. And there as well, Mac Hansen didn't quite do it the way that he wanted. I like saying hello, says Chad. I mean, it's better than, I guess, saying goodbye when you greet people. Just, I guess, a little fact. It's always fun when someone's got their birthday, or you've got your birthday and someone goes happy birthday and you go you too. It only works if you're twins. Other than that, you're just in a really bad way and you should just walk away from the scenario. Luckily, I have not done that, but it's interesting. I've heard how are you, thank you. That's like as in how are you, and then the second person, thank you. You balance a writing instrument on your knob, and then the pen is on the penis. Is that some philosophy, Sebastian? They want another water break at the moment in this matchup between the sides. Curtly Arinsa looks like he could certainly use some water. The hands on the hits for half a second. Then I think he realized the camera was on him and decided, right, I'm now no longer tired. Keep me out here for the full 80. So, line out throw here for a young Hendrik Wessels here. Connacht almost having the wrong number of players and that scrum or the line out. That's actually a penalty or a free kick we don't normally see too often, but luckily they got everyone there. And I'm subbed, says Chad there. I know. I've seen you a few times overall, Chad. And I was at a 10 out of 10. Says scrum lads now. Johan Husson goes on the outside. It's going to be Lionel Mapo getting his first chance. So it's making his way out onto the field. Now I believe, by the looks of it, David Creel would have gone out to the right wing. And then from there, they have put Lionel Mapo in the midfield. He's chasing after that one. Hasn't quite been able to get it on. Great step from McNulty. Almost breaking through, and he does just that. Jan Henrik Wessels tries to make it a rolling maul, though. He does have to release him as the knee was able to go down. Now, Marmion fighting for it. And a breakdown. Nice work from Connacht, sitting 31 minutes through this contest currently. It's gone by pretty quick. You're the first one to add a philosophical interpretation to that phrase. Well, I mean, it sounded a little bit like Shakespeare. I feel like anyone who really likes Shakespeare will be very offended by that statement. So I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. If you are Shakespeare entrepreneurs, that's not the word. That's if you sell Shakespeare stuff, isn't it? There's a boot that's randomly lying on the ground at the moment. Johan Husson goes across to David Krill. Watch your Rugby Challenge NPC game. Geez, that's a little while ago that we did end up doing those. I remember when we used to do the top 10 tries of the week for our Bunnings NPC, which was quite a lot of fun. Now, only a few meters out from the line, going short side. Cornell Hendricks thought he was quick, but he was not. And he was shut down pretty much instantly by the big number 8, Jared Butler. Now, Eirik Lowe tries to go around the side here. Zach Brugge. I kind of combined about 4 names in one there. I think a couple meters out. They need to be careful here for the Bulls because they're slowly finding themselves just a little bit further back. But now Curtly Arinsa. Oh, did he put the ball down? They are saying he did not. Now he's been scrapped by the collar. And Johan Awesome will clean it up, but it's going to be going back. And Connacht will have themselves another scrum. So Shakespearean Disciples says it was Sebastian Shakespeare was made up by the lizard overlords to torture children. Really? Didn't know that one. I know we watched West Side Story. No, that's not. Is that Shake? No. How does that tie in with the whole... No, it's not the Romeo. And we watched Romeo and Juliet for English. How does West Side Story link in with that kind of thing? Does it? Or am I just being weird? Well, not weird. I'm always weird. Am I being silly? I guess is the better way of wording it. Curtly Arinsib, a little bit disappointed with that one. Only 10 meters out now. Oh, hang on. He's on the collar. So I believe it's actually going to be a penalty reversed, and the Bulls will walk away with this penalty now. Yeah. So grabbed him by the collar, dragged him down. Considered as the high tackle. And now Connacht, that was a good opportunity. Although I would like to see whether or not Arinsib did end up putting that ball down in the in-goal area. He was very close. I feel like that is also something that maybe they should have had a quick look at. Either way, a penalty will overrule that. But, yeah, it's very close. Yeah. Just had him by the collar there. Curtly Arinsib. Now they will be able to go. I think West Side Story links in with straight out of Compton, says Sebastian. There's some sort of, I want to say there's some sort of tie. I should have listened more in English. Probably. Anyway, what else do we watch? We watched a lot of stuff in English. In fact, half of it, I don't even know why we watched it. 50 to the Bulls, 12 to Connacht, says Nikki Schwartz there. And also, I still watch, I try highlights. Says Chad currently, it will be passed back for the Bulls. Johan Hussein penalty goes the way this time of the Bulls, and a little bit of a wrestle as well. I guess it's always going to take place. Currently, seems like the biggest player on the field, which is the number 4, Volt Stenkamp, has decided to pick on the smallest player on the field, which is Kieran Marmion. Heffernan's not backing down. Not too happy with any of the Bulls players at the moment, but 34 and a half minutes through, I think Willie is going to once again get paid. And I really hope he cashes out this time after the success. If it is success, that is. Still, of course, enough time for 2 tries to be scored in this half. It was a frantic start to the match, though. 2 tries for the Bulls early on, 1 disallowed as well. But now, seems like a little bit more of a methodical pace. 4 tries will get yourself the bonus point. And West Side Story is basically a more modern interpretation of Romeo and Juliet. Oh, so I was actually kind of right. Maybe I was listening deep down in English and not just concentrating on random things that weren't really important. Yeah, a little bit of a wrestle there. He does have his forearm on the throat of the Bulls player, or sorry, of the Connacht player. So, you know, you're not supposed to do that theoretically. And I was coming back soon. I'll see you soon. And then we watch Casablanca, a movie about French triumph, which is absolutely bollocks. History books are written by the winners, which is why French books are blank from cover to cover. Oh, it's lucky there wasn't a French side in this match, or else I think they would have all been coming at you, Seb. But what else is French? There's a musical that's French, isn't it? Is it Les Miserables? Is that how you say it? Les Miserables? That wasn't it. We'll go with the first one rather than the second. And it's a musical, not a play. Yeah. I don't know many musicals overall. I mean, I had an older sister, so the only musical I really knew about was High School Musical for a while. Which, you know, is what it is. It's going to be kick for touch now. It did actually get reversed for that forearm to the throat, so I understand where they're coming from now for that one. I think Volsten come a little bit disappointed. And a little bit of a chat with a few of his Bulls teammates, but this is going to be a line out here. Napoleon was always, or will always be in my heart, says Gareth there as well. 22 meters out, Heffernan got the line out throw. 10 penalties against the Bulls so far throughout this first half. They certainly need to be careful with that discipline. They've already had a man, and they've been good attack and run from Tom Daly. A nice bit of play here. Quick hands. Good tackle from Mapo. Ended up tying up the legs of McNulty. Now Mac Hansen. They've done well to shut him down early on throughout this matchup. Now back across Marmion. Goes nicely to the big number 6, which I believe is Josh Murphy for this game. Now, Josh Murphy. There's another Murphy, isn't there? And I can't remember, he is a Leinster man, isn't he? Or is he a Munster man? Who's the other Murphy that I'm thinking of, ladies and gentlemen? Do let me know. Believe he also plays on the loose forward trio, though, just to make it a little bit trickier to work it out. Now, nice inside ball. Mac Hansen going, did you watch Sharp, Gareth? It's quite an intriguing historical TV series taking place during the Napoleonic Wars. I recommend it. Says Sebastian, nice run. Now Mac Hansen almost goes. He's up to the 22. Good tackle made by Marcel Kutzer, the captain. And also Kurtley Arunsa went low. Connacht, they're up to 9 phases now. They continue to put it together. And I have watched Sharp, Sean Bean and there as well. Says Gareth and Ireland have a few Murphys. Let me tell you that, says Nicholas Stevenson. I feel like the thing that would have made that so much better is if you were Nicholas Murphy. That would have just been a little bit too perfect. But yeah, who's the other Murphy that I'm thinking of? Normally plays 7, I believe, for either Munster or Leinster. His name's not Josh, or it actually could be Josh, to be fair. It's a good kick downfield from the Bulls. 36 minutes through the half at the moment. Just the 2 tries on the board at this stage. But Heffernan works hard. Marcel Kutzer, though, gets in there, gets the turnover quickly for his Bulls side and saves just a little bit of the fatigue. Finley Bilham, a little bit disappointed. Sean was great in that series. I think that's hardly debatable. And there as well, says Sebastian. Murphy. John Murphy? John Murphy sounds like maybe a guitarist from the 80s, at a guess. But I'm sure there's another Murphy. Well, there's a lot of Murphys by the sounds of it. Eddie Murphy, he's another one, but he doesn't play rugby. Kurtley Arunsa is now injured as well. The 2 Springbok newcomers look like they've both sustained injuries throughout this first game of the URC. Now it's going short side off to Marcel Kutzer. 37 minutes through. Zach Berger trying to get that penalty. He's done brilliantly there to be able to milk it for the penalty. For his side, Charlie has said hello. Or he said hello, sorry. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Corner Hendricks, another good carry. Zach Berger goes back. Another advantage that is going to be for Finley Bilham being offside now. Bulls, they only need 2 more tries to get themselves the bonus point. They've got 2.5 minutes left of this first half. And that's gone into touch. It will be going back for the penalty there. I'm back, says Charlie. Are you by any chance Chad, Charlie? Out of curiosity. Zach Berger and Sean Murphy, the snooker player. And also, I wonder if there's someone called Murphy Murphyson in Ireland. I was here 2 months ago. Welcome back, mate. It's been a little while. So that's almost before the Rugby Championship, isn't it? As well. Yeah, I hope you have been keeping well. Yeah, Kurtley Arunsa. Oh, yeah. That ankle's really going to hurt. And also, sadly, no, says Charlie there as well. But yeah, Arunsa, you'd have to say his running line was all off. And unfortunately, he's paid the ultimate price because I think he might have almost snapped his ankle there. Although he looks like he might be all right. Hopefully, it's just a severely twisted ankle or a slightly twisted ankle, and he'll be able to continue this match. But everyone's got their flashlights out on their phone. I guess I should probably do the same. Wow, that's kind of weird and trippy at the same time. Did I need an epilepsy warning for that? Not too sure. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. Anyone does have epilepsy, I do apologize if that did set off anything. 2 minutes left. The first half. Willie, sorry, that was a weird way of saying it, but Willie's going to be right. It looked impossible. I hope he didn't cash out because he is going to be rolling in the dough after this weekend, as long as he doesn't spend it all. That's the big thing. And yep, says Charlie Dolan. And there's well, but now Jan Hendrik Vessels about to throw the ball in for the Bulls. 1 minute and a half left. Nicely taken by Rowan Nokia. That's going to be an advantage in favour of the Bulls for coming down just a little bit too early. Or joining that too early. That's going to be another penalty now. Zach Berger wants the ball. He's had to blow it twice. It would have been close to a try. And Willie is the winner today, my friends. Let me tell you, I was just saying about it. You've done extremely well. Please cash out, though. I don't want to see that you try and go like double or nothing in another one and then end up losing it. I feel like you've had a very good run. You should cash that out. You'll be able to get yourself something nice. I think. Imagine if someone was high on magic mushrooms, that flashlight will have intensified the hallucination, says Sebastian. And also, I think there was an Alex Murphy playing rugby. Murphy, quite a common last name, isn't it? When you think about it. I guess it's kind of like Wales and Jones. That's going to be very close to the line. It's a try. Right. That is the try for Marcel Coetzee. Now, the thing is, if they take this kick quickly, there's going to be an interesting one. I will pick it up tomorrow again. Got some fire picks. Please don't spend all the money, Willie. That's the thing. It always breaks my heart when I see people come in after saying I've been successful, and then the next day they go, I put it all on a team to win and they lost, and now I leave with nothing. I feel like that's always the hardest one. That's a big ute, the John Deere. Right, this is going to be a half time, though, by the time this kick goes over, so your money is safe, Mr. Willie. Currently, Johan Horsen about to line up this kick. The kick predictor has it as a 66% probability. Also, we have got the Never Miss there. I take 8K and bet with the 2K, says Wet Willie. That is good news. Like Aiden, says Gareth, exactly like Aiden. That man, I don't know what he is up to now, but he always puts massive money. It's like the biggest one is when I see people putting massive bets on a game that they don't actually know who's in the lineup before they put the bet on. Like in terms of try scorers, I think Aiden's had about 3 where he's had a try scorer who wasn't actually playing in the game, which doesn't quite work. But yeah, or like going who's actually in the team when the game is kicked off, not knowing kind of roughly who your stars are. You want to know a little bit about what is happening there, just so you can be slightly more sure. But it's half-time at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. 21 points to 0. We haven't seen one of these as of yet, which hopefully will be the case heading into the last game of the contest. That's a really wrong statement. Heading into the second half is what I was trying to say there, but I think I got slightly confused or slightly distracted because I did see that I did have another tab open, and that is the United Rugby Championship stats. We're going to find out some for everyone who is tuning in. But yeah, anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got plenty more live streams coming later on. Unfortunately, unfortunately, Lions versus Cardiff, we have had to, it sounds weird to say cancel, but we've had to rearrange it a little bit with all of the other games. We're definitely doing Stormers Edinburgh, though. Then I do have the goal of doing Saracens versus Leicester. That is the game a little bit later on. And then also a couple games of the Bunnings ZBC, or at least one anyway. We will like to cover that. Will either be Auckland versus Taranaki or Canterbury versus Otago. So 2 big matches, one or the other, or maybe both, depending on how we're going. I'll try and get some guests on as well. If Isaac's in town, I feel like it will be a good one to have, although he hasn't actually told me if he's in town as of yet, as I did take a long time to reply. And he put $200 or so on the Brisbane Heat, and when the game was about to start, he said, wait, why is Crystalline not playing? I've just got undone for, says Sebastian. Yeah, you got to know who's in those lineups before you put on like leading run scorers. That's the thing. I learned my lesson with that a little bit, because when I had I had like $5 in my account, I guess you could say. And it was that warm-up game that we saw before the Cricket World Cup with, what was it? It was, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, New Zealand versus Australia in the Cricket World Cup warm-ups. And I had it was probably actually all $5. I put a $5 bet on Glenn Maxwell to be the leading run scorer. He didn't bat, but they took my money anyway. They said pretty much, because he could have batted in the game, we will take your money. Thank you very much. So that was unfortunate, because they went with a different fielding side than a batting lineup. So he wasn't actually there, but I didn't get a refund. And that was a learning lesson. Do not put money on Glenn Maxwell. And there's actually part of another multi. Cardiff win tonight, and the Stormers and the Sharks tomorrow. That another 10K, mate, says Wet Willie. Jeez. That's a lot of moolah, mate. And yeah, I guess the good news is, by the sounds of it, you're keeping 20%, you're keeping 80%, only using the 20. That is a good tactic to have. And yeah, hopefully it does end up working out for you. So the Sharks tomorrow, who are they playing? They're playing the Dragons. They should get the job done. The Stormers should get the job done, theoretically. And Cardiff. Cardiff's probably the big game. They'll come in as underdogs, I believe, wouldn't they? Although it is in Cardiff, and any side who's away from home seem to struggle just a little bit more. But we will get some stats for that match. I just remembered that's what I was doing. So we will go down to it. The VODACOM Bulls at this point in time, they've had less possession throughout this matchup. 51% for Connacht. That's a lot closer than I expected it to be. Will you do a review for the Lions and Cardiff game? I believe by the time I wake up, it will actually be about 4 a.m. in South Africa time. So I don't think we'll have a review coming out of that game. But when we do our Stormers versus Edinburgh, we are going to be talking all about the upcoming matches or the past matches that we have seen the scores of, and they are the favourites. Do you know how much by, Willie? It's like I mentioned, the TAB in New Zealand, for some reason, just don't have the URC. And I don't know why. It's like the only rugby competition they don't actually have. I'm going to have a look, though, and see if they have got it. And there as well, one more. We will go down. And we will go to Rugby Union. Have they got it? Oh, they do have it. Since when? Maybe they just didn't have it for the first 2 weeks. You heard that, Glenn? You owe the Kiwi lads $5 New Zealand dollars. Says Sebastian. I'm sure if we met him, it would not come up just because he's quite scary, isn't it, when he gets angry? Glenn Maxwell. But, yeah, unfortunate. I think that was the only bet I've ever put on cricket, I believe. Maybe. That I can think of anyway. And they are the favourites. I wonder if United Rugby Championship, have they got the odds for that one? Yeah, Cardiff, $1.42. I mean, the Lions... Who'd they play last week? They actually got themselves a win, didn't they? The Lions, when they did end up going head-to-head with a team. I really have forgotten all of the URC fixtures last week. I keep on remembering the week before. I know they played the Bulls, but that was actually 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? Rather than just the one. But yeah, should be an interesting game. See who gets the better of that one. Clean breaks. The Bulls actually had more defenders beaten. 14 defenders beaten for Connacht, compared to the 3 of the Bulls and the 6 offloads to the 1 in favour of the Mean Green Machines. But now looking through at the number of tackles, Connacht have made a few more with having a lot less. Oh, the 70-cent bet on the T20 between the Black Cats and India. How did I forget about the 70-cent bet? That almost rhymed. But yeah, that was a fun time, other than the fact that I lost my 70 cents. But it would have been nice. I have 1 cent on a game in the Bunnings MPC a couple weeks ago, and just barely the favourites. I picked them because they are at home, to be honest, says Wet Willie. Fair enough. I mean, decent chance that they'll do all right. So they don't actually have try-scoring options on the TAB for us in New Zealand. Ulster are actually only just underdogs as well for their game up against the Leinster men, which is going to be pretty interesting to see how that one transpires. The best thing is I get to watch both of them on replay. 10 penalties conceded against the Bulls, 8 against Connacht. There were 3 tries scored, first try of which was scored by, the number 15, Kurtley Arinse, also Zach Berger getting himself in for the second, and then Marcel Hutzia was able to score the final try of the half. That was right near the end of that half as well. Currently waiting for the second half. Get back underway. My coverage has frozen, I think. Yes, it has. So I will refresh it, and then we will be straight back into the action. The only problem with halftime in most rugby games is they seem to be getting longer and longer. I don't know whether it's due to sponsorship and win away. See, there's Lawrence there. Yeah, I mean, I think the Lions are going to be a tough side to beat, but you just never know. It's one of those weird ones that until you see how they are going, it's very tricky. Balance is minus $5.70. Not looking good, boss. Yeah. That's the thing. Whenever someone asks me, hey, who's going to win the match? I always go, well, I have no idea. And when can we see the game, says Grady? Unfortunately, we won't be able to show any match footage that is due to licensing, but depending on the country you're in, you've either got in Ireland, I believe it's on Premier Sports. In South Africa, it's on DSTV. In New Zealand, Spark Sport. In Australia, I think it's on Stan Sport. There are quite a few options around for different services. Unfortunately, most of them subscription-based, which is a shame. I wish they would do what we saw for the Gallagher Premiership, and that is one kind of free game on YouTube a week, just to get everyone well and truly intrigued. And also plus 6.5 first half, decent odds, says Wet Willie there. And also about the balance of $5.70 or minus $5.70 one day we might consider. Actually, is anyone in the chat in New Zealand and have a TAB account? Because I know a tactic to get you a free $20 bonus bet. It sounds like an affiliate link. It's not. It's just to do with the NRL final that they did have. And I managed to put this is going to sound really, I guess, cheap, but it was smart at the same time. I put a $5 bet on Brian To'o to score a try. Then from there, because I put a $5 bet on, I get a $20 bonus bet for the grand final. And then I took the cash out option of Brian To'o for $5. So that's how I did it. I haven't used that bet though. I have no idea what to spend it on. It's just going to sit there probably for a week and I'll forget about it and it will expire. So if anyone has a good recommendation for what to use a $20 bonus bet on, let me know, because I am terrible at picking things. And Lions defense is weak and prefer an open game Cardiff is structured. And there, although no Josh Adams, which I was quite surprised to see for the Cardiff boys, but Talupe Faletau in the 4-pack, he's going to be an awesome one. And then also Emmanuel Tachuka finds himself in the starting lineup for the Lions. Hendricks at 10. Thomas Williams for Cardiff. It's going to be pretty awesome. And I am looking forward to seeing the replay of that game. Hamish's TAB hack 10 out of 10. Says Scrum Lass. You got to work smarter, not harder. And I needed every free bonus bet that I could get. So it seemed like the ideal scenario. I hope the TAB don't hear that and decide to take it off me. I'll probably have to spend it soon. But if anyone from the TAB is watching at this hour of the night, first of all, hello. Second of all, where's our Kiwi lads? Free bonus bets. We like them. Currently half-time in this matchup between the two sides. 21-0. A little bit one-sided. Connacht have had their chances, though. I believe they've had 2 or 3 that they could have found themselves over the line. Lions have a young team. They'll get better as the competition progresses. And similar to last year as well, they had a little bit of a shaky start. All the South African teams, in fact. But it was once they started getting a little bit more of the hang of things, getting used to conditions, playing away from home, they started putting together some very good performances. And in the end, the Stormers able to go all the way in that URC competition. But I don't know, South African side, certainly there's probably a good chance of making their way into the grand final of the URC. They have said welcome back, which does mean more than likely we are very close to the second half getting underway. Anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. It is hugely appreciated, guys, all being here. Definitely, because we are at such a random time of the game. Stan Sports doesn't have the URC, only Gallagher Games Boss. Ooh. So what is the option in Australia? Is it actually URC TV? Maybe, because I assume it's not on KO. Those guys have to be twins. They looked very similar. But, yeah, is it on KO in Australia, Nathan? Or is it on, URC Plus or URC TV, I believe is what they call it. Overall, it's just a shame that there's no option that has all the rugby all the time for one subscription fee. Of course, you don't want it to be hugely expensive, but I think people would theoretically pay, $30 a month, maybe even up to $50 if they got to have every game of rugby from every league that they could physically license available. You get to watch the URC, Gallagher Premiership, Super Rugby, Internationals. The Sevens could be thrown in there as well for good measure. But the problem is trying to secure all those licensings, which is always tricky to do. Now, Connacht back out on the field. They'll be looking for a better second half in this one. Definitely some points on the board needed if they do want a good chance going on and getting themselves a positive win. That is a 6:39 a.m. yawn right there, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Hansen out there on the field. I'll be very excited. Do you think Auckland and Taranaki go under 41 points? Wait, one moment. I'm going to have to be strategic with this one, Willie. Why, is that part of your multi, or is that something you're looking to add or to have in general? And also, I do hope the Bulls will be better in the second half. Too many mistakes and also too many penalties against them, says Alfie. Yeah, around that 10 penalty mark. Now, They did have a big advantage in penalties over Connacht, who had only given away 3, but now it's up to 8. Charged down straight away by Connacht. Kurtley Arinsa's kick has not worked out, and now 5 metres out from the line. Connacht looking to attack straight away as the second half begins. Finlay Bilham around the side. It's going to be another advantage now for Connacht. So that is going to be the 11th penalty, you would think, unless, of course, this one goes over the try line. Very close for Connacht at the moment. Numbers out to the left. Cross kick from Hawkshaw. It's high in the air, and it's going to be wrestled down just for Matt Hansen, I should say. And over, not under. It's part of the multi. So over 41 points. I'm just going to look at the weather in Auckland, but those two sides know how to score tries. If the weather is nice. Oh, it's showery. It's going to be raining, so that actually changes it. Over 41 might be a little bit tricky. Might be similar to what we saw last night between Hawke's Bay and Tasman, how it could be quite a close one in terms of, I mean, they don't get much closer than that try at the last moment, though, with the kick going over. That was quite a sensational moment overall. But, yeah, it's going to be close, I would think, for over 41 points. But then that game also has the potential of having like 70 points, like a 34-32 scoreline or something. Auckland need the win, though, so that is a big one. Taranaki also wouldn't mind getting themselves that victory. Keep them in the hunt. In fact, I don't even think that helps them. I think they're still out of the top 4. Now, Scrum going down 5 metres out from the Bulls line. Connacht going to have them under pressure. This is where Bilham really puts in the big shove over Gerhard Stennekamp. It'll be hard work, though. Stenkamp doesn't exactly go backwards very often, I wouldn't think. And it's a nicely set scrum. I think someone's mouth guard just fell out. I think that was the Connacht player. Perhaps had his mouth open a little bit too far. Now the short side. Marmian's made the mistake. It's gone backwards. Marcel Chutzia tries to jump all over it, but still available for Ireland. The Irish side, Connacht, I should say. I hope so. I guess I'll see you later for that one, says Wet Willie. Yeah, that will be intense. That is for sure. That's going to be the penalty to the Bulls this time. Every time Connacht have been close. Now, Zach Berger wanted to take the quick mark, but he wasn't on it. Or the quick tap, I should say. 42 minutes into this game. And Connacht, that is about their 6th opportunity that they've blundered just in front of the goal area. Not what they would have been wanting, that is for sure. Big shot, though. Great work. Round the ankles, then straight on the ball. Roa Nokia does do well. He looked straight up at the referee. He knew what he had done. He knew that he had got his hands on the ball quick enough and effectively enough that the referee had no choice but to give him the penalty. But Jan-Henrik Wessels now with the line-out throw. Bulls, they'll be chasing that bonus point. Only one more try required to be able to do so. Nicely taken by Marcel Chutzia at the back. Now Johan Horsen goes to first receiver, David Creel. I think Lionel Mapo's a little bit of a floating back at the moment. He seems to be either in the centres or out on the wing, just anywhere that they do need him. Now Johan Horsen goes for the kick in behind. It's out on the full. A little bit of a mistake from Johan Horsen. We don't normally see it too often. That time did just get his angle all too wrong, I guess you could say. Yeah, currently almost 7 a.m. in New Zealand. Is it going to... Okay, it's still dark, but it looks like the sun might come out today, which is quite a nice change from yesterday, as it was just raining and quite cold. It's supposed to be spring, but we're sitting 4 degrees Celsius. So I think someone forgot to tell the weather that it's supposed to be spring. Now it's gone over the top. Another mistake there. It's going to be Wessels who jumps straight on it. Matt Hansen was not keen to go for that ball. Referee has to jump underneath that one for the box kick. Nicely taken there by Murphy. Tries to step. Goes down, though, straight away. The ball's back on the ball. It's going to be the penalty for not rolling away there. It was good work in the breakdown from Heinrich Lowe, but Marcel Chutzia did end up lured in there. Couldn't get out of it. And not moving away penalty. So if they give away a penalty just in front of their own goal line here for the Bulls, if that's if Connacht get down there, I think there could be a chance for another yellow card in a very short moment. Just with the amount that they've been given away. Of course, this one was a completely different penalty inside of the half of Connacht, so wasn't quite a cynical one, you wouldn't say. Actually quite sneaky from the number 5. I blame Pat Cummins. Australia, they must be playing a series soon, aren't they? in the T20. I'm trying to remember who they will be playing. Are they playing? They're playing a top team. Who are they playing? Are they playing South Africa? No. Not too sure. I'm actually a little bit disappointed in myself that I haven't been able to cover any of the T20s between Pakistan and England. Seems like a bit of a shame. I've been watching the highlights, and even that has been a bit of a struggle to find the gaps to be able to do so. I've done way too much editing this week rather than streaming. I think I've got the balance slightly wrong for just this week. Nice backline here for Connacht. Draw and pass. Nice, good low tackle made by Seba Unkosi. Stolen by the Bulls. They are strong in the breakdown as the Connacht side are continuing to learn now. Going off to the short side, it's going to be Seba Unkosi, his first carry of the game. Kurtley Arunsa, it's great to see that he is still actually out on the field after his ankle did get twisted in the first half of the game. Now across, great short ball from David Krill. Ball off to Zach Berger. That's the bonus point here. Well, we didn't slide very far at Loftus. I think it's quite dry there. South Africa playing India, 2 more T20s, and then an ODI series, says Sebastian, because I think New Zealand also have a series up against, is it the West Indies coming up relatively soon? So yeah, I want to get back into doing more cricket live streams. We've been a little bit interesting with him. Although, to be fair in my defense, this sounds like an excuse, but starting work at about 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. on a weekday when a game's going to be finishing at 6:30 or so, or 6 o'clock, does make it relatively tough to be able to juggle. But hopefully we can make it work. I'd love to be able to at least get that 7th match of the series. And I know it's probably not even going to be a decider. I'd love if it was, though. 3-3 for the two sides going into the final match. That would be an epic one. When is the final match, Sebastian? Do let me know. England just beat Pakistan by 8 wickets. I'm actually going to be able to see when their final match is. I was like, lol. Says Nazi Williams, that man has a number 9 on his back. That is for Zach Berger in that one. But yeah, nice batting from Phil Sol. And the toughest period of the year. Both cricket and rugby are full on, says Sebastian there. Yeah, I need to somehow find a way of duplicating myself, because then I could do the cricket and the rugby. In fact, if we found a way of duplicating, I would probably take the risk and duplicate myself 3 times. I know that that's a little bit risky, but I'd do the rugby, I'd do the cricket, and I'd also be working during the day as well as the combination. In fact, I'll probably just need 4. If I could get 5 of myself, that would be very handy. Now, another big run. Johanna Husson tries to get it going. That's going to be a knock-on by Marcel Gutzia. And also, we've got the hours of sleep, says Nazi Williams. I mean, if we're talking about the hours of sleep I've had tonight, it's 1.5, which is why I'm going to be sleeping during the day today, I believe. So the 7th T20 is going to be Monday. Oh, why is it overlapping with a Harlequins game? That's a big decision, Sebastian. Is it England have won 3 puck? Yeah, 1, 2, 3 for England. 1, 2, 3 for Pakistan. Do I get the free pass to be able to do the cricket, Sebastian, during a Harlequins matchup? Do let me know. And who's making 4K to 8K? So that is 4 to 8K Rand, I believe. And that was Wet Willie once again. He seems to be doing very well with the old predictions. At the moment, 48 minutes through this contest, 28-0. So my scoreboard's a little bit behind. There we go. Has updated, and that's going to be now a free kick to Connacht. What have I missed, says Gareth? So at this stage, you have missed a couple more opportunities for Connacht right out in front of the line, just not able to capitalise. The Bulls scoring the try with Zach Berger getting his 2nd now. So on par, maybe for a hat-trick if he isn't taken off. It's a good kick downfield from Connacht, though. The bonus point is far away. The moment for Connacht, a losing bonus point that is, even a bonus point for scoring 4 or more tries. They're going to need a lot in the next 32 minutes or so. Penalties conceded, though, 13 against the Bulls. So theoretically, Connacht should be a lot closer in this matchup. Heffernan throws it in, stolen by the Bulls there at line-out time. Now across, a wall with a big man and number 7, Maka van Staden. Now nice quick hands from Lionel Mapo. Goes out to Kurtley Arunsa. And also, man, so much going on. Be hard to keep up with the Women's Rugby World Cup cricket and Rugby League World Cup. Busy months ahead, says Nathan. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I'll be honest. We're gonna probably be running off a lot of like short 5-hour nights or so, maybe. Because if I'm working during the day as well, theoretically, I'll be working during the day, Women's World Cup and during the weekend. That's all right. That works quite well for myself. But it's going to be those T20 games. I believe they'll have them every night, but that's in Australia. That's actually good for me as well. The good news is, other than the Rugby League World Cup and the FIFA World Cup, everything else is kind of on our time zone. So it makes it slightly easier. But once we get past those competitions, she's a bit of a juggle. And of course, I'm interested in both fixtures, England cricket and Harlequins. We'll discuss both games either way, says Sebastian. Yeah, we certainly will. Yeah, a couple good games. And the best thing is I'll be able to have them on both screens. So I'll be able to see both as they take place. Do we have any URC fixtures taking place on the Sunday or the Monday morning our time? I don't think there are. I think Sharks versus Dragons is the last URC game in the FIFA World Cup. Let's go, says Nathan there. So we haven't actually worked out whether or not we're doing the FIFA World Cup on the main channel or the sport channel at this point. I know that George is keen to do it on the main channel. And yeah, who knows, maybe. I think Cricket World Cup, I think we're going to do it on the sport, though, just because I don't want to risk the copyright strike. It was such a burden last year. Thanks, Sri Lanka. I don't actually think they've live streamed any games in like 7 months either, which is annoying. How does the League World Cup work? They go straight into the quarterfinals, says Gareth. Yeah, I think it is pool stages, and then you go into quarters, semi, and then the final. Luckily, it's not like that Sevens World Cup, because that seemed to be the weirdest format I've seen for a World Cup in a while. How it's pretty much no group stage. You're just playing off against everyone. If you lose, you're out, which seemed pretty harsh for a lot of those sides. But now 22 metres out from their own line here for Connacht. Looks like they're looking for a halfback. If they got one, it is going to be the big number 5 who marches in to decide to take it. No, instead it's actually going to be the number 13, Tom Farrell. It's going to be a double blow of the whistle. Oh, time off. They want to check for foul play here. Now, is this against Connacht or is this against the Bulls? It might be against the Bulls here. A potential head-to-head contact is the comment. This could be another yellow card, perhaps. I don't know whether it's the number 8, Jared Butler, who's being penalised. And you're going to be busy, Harry, says Nathan. Certainly am. But I guess I've fine-tuned my sleep schedule to be used to doing all-nighters. Other than today, where I have only gone to sleep at I think I got to sleep at, not 5, that was just before the match. I got to sleep at 3:45-ish, and then from there, I did end up waking up at 5, getting all prepared right. So, I don't know if there's too much in that. From this angle anyway, unless it's the clean out. Is that on the back of Marco van Staden? No. Oh, was it that one of Heinrich Low? I don't think he connected the way that he tried to, though. Is that the one? The tip? No, it's not even a tip. I don't know what they're checking here in the breakdown. And also 50-0 to the Bulls, maybe, says Dominic. There's a chance. At the moment, they are looking very strong. And Connacht just don't seem to be able to get that last phase that they need to get themselves. Oh, there it is. Okay, I wouldn't say that that's too much. I think both players just got their heads in the wrong place. Johan Horsen did end up going down there when he did end up colliding with Marmion. The thing is, they're probably going to call this, unfortunately, they're going to say it's probably a yellow or a red. I don't see a lot in it, though. Johan Horsen. He half-by gives up on the... Yeah, I think it's going to be a red card. And I'll have to bid you goodbye, gentlemen. See you all tomorrow. Pretty good weekend for us sports fans. Big love, says Sebastian. So we will see you later on, mate. If you do enjoy the rest of your day, although it's night. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your night and then your day tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be head on head. There is a wrap. He just doesn't dip down. He's trying to lift in the ball and play the ball, is the comment from the referee. Do love an Italian accent every once in a while. Johanna Horsen's cheekbones getting checked out. He's only just come back from injury. So number 9 has gone up after the tackle, as it's been called. Well, the ref in yellow card says Dominique, yeah. I hope it's a yellow, but for some reason, I have a bad feeling we're going to see one of these. Okay, low level of danger, that's good. Okay, good. It sounds like it's just going to be a yellow. That is the right decision at the end of the day. We'll get out that card. I feel like if I could somehow do a magic trick where I flick this and it becomes red, that would be absolutely epic. But I don't know whether or not I've got the sleight of hand to be able to do so. Here is just a plain card. You ready? Here is just a plain card. No, it's not. Here is just a, why is it see-through? Here is just a plain card that shows through my body. Look at that. I'm like Iron Man or something. Here's a card. Here's a card. It no longer wants to just be yellow. It's not going to be yellow. This is going to, there we go. I've got a yellow card. Now it's red. There you go, a bit of fanciness. That's going to be a yellow card against Johan Hussen. I smacked myself in the face with my cards. It's unfortunate. Now 51 minutes through. It's kicked into touch. Connacht need to make the most of this man advantage. I've said it multiple times. They've been close, but they haven't been able to finish. And that's exactly what they need in the next little while. And definitely next 10 minutes. If they get themselves 2 tries in a weird and magical way, the comeback could be slightly on. They're currently $36 underdogs, so it's not expected that they'll come back and win it. But, I mean, they got to try and get something going. They just haven't quite been able to do it. 28 minutes left in this game, I should mention as well. Okay, Connacht just making sure they have got the right line-out call. Heffernan about to throw it in. They have got Grant Stewart, who will be coming off the bench. Maybe not now, but in a few minutes' time. Maybe about 15. And how has Hussen been playing? Do you think he will be able to slot in the box scene? Or do you think he'll be able to slot into the box scene? I think he's looked pretty solid. Of course, he's now got a yellow card because I did jinx him earlier on saying that he's a dangerous player. Or not a dangerous as in like dangerous as in discipline, but dangerous as in being able to find those gaps that are about in the back line. I think he would be quite a good option. I feel like it's either him, Marnie Lebok might be the other guy, is the other fly half option at the moment, depending on when Pollard comes back. And also now that Yankees is out of the picture, maybe you go with a younger guy. Jordan Hendrickse could get a shout. Chris Smith, someone along those lines. I do hope the ref is not playing the Bulls, thinking I must start ref the match. It's ref impartial. I do hope I am wrong, says Alfie. So currently the ref at this stage, I believe he's given away about 10 penalties against Connacht and about 14 against the Bulls. So he's been pretty even with the penalty count throughout this matchup. It is just both sides' discipline has been lacking pretty badly throughout this game. And also the Stormers says not everyday cultist. And also says Nathan there. But now Byron Ralston makes his way out onto the field. That is for Daly in the midfield. Connacht 30 metres out from their line now have themselves another scrum. The spam got deleted, says Nathan. Yeah, did manage to get them. I think I actually fired that timeout button that time. They have been told to use it. Now it goes back to Marmion. Goes across now to first receiver. It's a short ball to Byron Ralston, who's hit hard in his first contact of the day. I hope he warmed up well, because that would have been quite a sore one on the ribs, I would think. Now, Marmion tries to go short side. That's where the Bulls are most dangerous, though, when they've got about a 2-on-1 and they just get that second jackler in and normally do very nicely. That's a penalty now to Connacht, not rolling away. I want to spark some North versus South rivalry banter, says not your everyday cultist. And there as well. North versus South rivalry banter. I mean, it would be almost a good time to start it. I know the November internationals are coming around the corner. I feel like I'm the worst when it comes to like teams trash talking because I am always on the fence. So I'm probably not the best person to trash talk with overall in terms of I have nothing to offer to an argument, but I'm sure some people in the chat, I mean, all you got to say pretty much as a team is going to lose, and that normally sets it off. And sorry, Amish, I'm on my iPad and can't zap them as fast as you can, says Scrum. There's no worries. And all we managed to deal with them, old Chat 69 as they were called. But anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. as we will not be timing you guys out. It's a little nice message there. My Wi-Fi looks like it's trying to time me out currently. Keeps on cutting a little bit in and out. This point in time, nice throw in. Now back across. Short ball. Beautiful inside pass from Tom Farrell. Goes straight to Matt Hansen. Now Marmion tries to pierce his way around the side. Can this be the first try of the match for Connacht now? It's going to be a cross. So down 5 meters. Oh, that's great body position though. And he just gets the penalty. It's efficient work from the Bulls. Marco van Staden does very nicely. Heffernan's fired up. He's just pushing everyone at the moment going, this is not going our way in the breakdown. But Marco van Staden, he ended up just getting his legs wide, almost doing the splits just over the ball. Textbook technique. And David Krill, he's got a good bit of that. It goes down to halfway. Nicely done. And sheesh, says Totally Lemon there. Yeah, the tackle's made. And like I mentioned, it's the second man who gets their hands over the ball. I don't really know what has happened to Connacht of late. They looked like such a dangerous team last season. Said not your everyday cultist. Although, if they had first game of the season, was that at home or was it away? Because I know they've had 2 away games up against South African sides, which always does make it a little bit trickier. Try and get yourself that nice momentum building early on. But I think once they get a few more games at home, they haven't exactly had easy opposition for their first matches. So maybe it's just the case of they need a nice win under their belt when they play a slightly easier side, and then they will be able to start building their way back towards mid-table. And Leka Jaljusta, and there says Dominic, hopefully I've said that correctly, but I probably have not, I think. Now Zach Berger about to go for the box kick. That's nice work. Getting plenty of height on it now. Cornell Hendricks unable to take it. Finley Bilham sits up for him. Now it's going to be Butler. Another penalty to the Bulls. This is hard at the moment for Connacht to even get any phases together. The Bulls are just too strong in the breakdown. It's lethal. And Drew, they lost 38-15 against the Stormers away, and not to the Bulls, or now 2 to the Bulls. So certainly not an easy start. Said not everyday cultures. And also Hamish, me oldest bro or boss, said there's a package, New Zealand, Christchurch and Dunedin. Says it was Nathan there. Really? New Zealand, Christchurch. The funny thing is I got an email today saying that a package from Australia was on its way and that it was in, I think it was Auckland. So maybe it's going to get here soon. Slightly annoying though, because I did order a different package from Australia, but I got the wrong shoe size. I think I mentioned this, that they couldn't cancel the order. They also couldn't exchange the order for different ones, even though it was still in the warehouse. So they had to send it over from Australia for me to then send it back. And now I have to wait about 20 working days till I get my refund. So I guess it's an investment, isn't it? It's just waiting to be able to use the money again. Oh, bye-bye, Connacht, says Dominique there. Another rolling maul for the Bulls. This is, like I mentioned, a very tough game for the Connacht boys just to find their momentum and find their feet. And they've got a man advantage. And now Zach Berger looks for the line. He's already got 2 today. He wants the hat trick. It'll be 5 meters out. Mornay Smith now out on the park. Nice drive for a couple extra meters now. Martin Zem almost at the Gary, but it's going to be a Connacht penalty this time. Player leaving his feet when he joined the breakdown. I believe that's Ruan Nokia who has been penalized for that one. This game all of a sudden has really slowed down. First half went very quick. We've only had 18 minutes of the second half, and it's been a big chess match between these two teams. It seems like either way the Bulls should win it, but Connacht, I want to say they've got a try in them. They just can't get there, though. It's tricky. And yeah, who knows? There's Nathan there. Yeah. Maybe. And hey, Hamish, did you hear about New Zealand? The sentient burning bus? The sentient burning bus? I have not. Unless we're talking about the bus Julian Savia, but I don't think that is the case. The sentient, I don't actually know what that word means, to be fair, in that regard. But do let me know. That's the thing. I've realized, other than sport, I have no idea what's going on in the world. Like, I'm trying to think of the last headline I actually know about how are you watching the game in New Zealand. So I am watching it on Spark Sport. So they don't have a huge amount of games. I believe they missed the occasional one, but a good app to have alongside it is actually Spark Sport and Tribe. Tribe is a free app that you can get on your phone. You put in the URC and it will tell you exactly what games are actually being shown on Spark Sport each and every week. And it makes no sense. Says Dominic can also, it's a recent clip I saw on Reddit of a burning bus driving itself down the road. Interesting. I mean, yeah, I don't know whereabouts that would have been. I haven't heard about it anyway. That's another penalty to the Bulls. So yeah, pretty much United Rugby Championship, what I always do on the app is go through. So they have got, this is going to hopefully focus, Ulster versus Leinster. That is on Spark Sport. So is Cardiff and the Lions. Then of the Sunday games, they actually only have the two matches, Edinburgh versus the Stormers and Dragons versus Sharks. So they don't normally do the games that don't involve South African sides, other than normally if it's a Munster versus Leinster or an Ulster versus Leinster, normally an Irish derby is the other matches that they do end up having. I saw it on an Aussie Man video on YouTube, says not everyday cultist. It make no sense too. Have to be stoned to comprehend, says Nathan there. Currently 60 minutes through, and Stewart is making his way out onto the field now for Heffernan. Man who hasn't really found his feet throughout this contest. And also it's going to be Papier making his way out onto the field. Imbros Papier. That is going to be for Zach Berger. So he will miss out on his hat-trick attempt. But still maybe another try just around the corner for the VODACOM Bulls that they have now got the attack. Sitting currently 16 penalties against the Bulls, 12 against Connacht. They've been told to use it once their ball's been put down. Nice work from Kieran Marmion. Does very well to keep it in the field of play. And Connacht now have got this ball just outside of their own 22. The ball's still a man disadvantage here. Back across to Mac Hansen, trying to run through. He's missed the passing option, though. He decided to hang on to it a bit too long. Nice fend from John Porch. Now Ralston looked like he was going to kick it. It's a poor pass. And now another chance. And are there any Irish fans here? So not everyday cultists, not a huge amount, but I assume we've got a few people from Ireland tuning into this one. Mac Hansen, though, did end up missing that pass option. He should have gone to Tom Farrell. Then from there, it would have opened up the next passing option. But just didn't quite go right. And now the scrum feed again will be with the Bulls. 18 minutes left. The Bulls have already got themselves a bonus point, but Riley going to be making his way out on the field. That is for, it was for Kieran Marmion. He's had a decent game overall, just hasn't really had the chance to really get it going. We'll go like this and like this. There we go. We are back on. Right on, baby. All Blacks under 19 doing well in South Africa, says Nathan. Yeah, I'm not too sure whether or not they're showing those games in New Zealand, but if they are, they would be quite a good one to watch. In fact, I think they're streaming them on YouTube, aren't they? Maybe. And also the Toyota Challenge, I want to say, is also on YouTube to an extent, which is quite cool to see a little bit more live rugby available. Okay, the referee just given a warning at scrum time once again against both sides. And Bros Papier will be feeding it in. I mean, the commentator here is saying that the Bulls need to up it here, and points difference is a big thing. They were already up by 28 points. But yes, it would be very handy to get themselves another 1 or 2 tries throughout the last 17 minutes of this fixture. It's a big push from Connacht there. They win the penalty at scrum time. Very nicely done. Just came back into the live, doing 28-0. Says D7, and also yesterday on YouTube, Boss Highlights, says Nathan, and also 1 try in the second half, says Dominic. So yeah, relatively low scoring second half between these two sides. A lot of penalties, a lot of little mistakes that have stopped both sides from being able to go in and get themselves a try. That one's mistouched, so there's another mistake from Connacht there. Now, beautiful step from Seba Unkosi. He is dragged down by John Porch, and all under 19 games are streamed on YouTube. Most of Supersport schools, or most on Supersport schools, says not everyday cultures, and come on, Connacht. Says scrum lads there as well. Now, Mornay Smith heads up to the halfway line. Now, Papier goes back. Johan Hussen, he's back out on the field after his 10 minutes on the naughty chair. Nicely taken by McNulty, driven backwards in the tackle. The Bulls, they are the more physical side out there on the park, and it has really showed throughout this fixture, but they've been the more ill-disciplined side throughout this match as well. But that is going to be the penalty against the Bulls this time. Bulls are having a pretty bad second half. So he's not your everyday cultist. Now this one going to be kicked in a touch by Hawkshaw. But yeah, in a weird way, both of these sides have really just, I guess, played this chess match of a second half. Neither side really keeping the momentum for too long if they do get any of that momentum. Do you think Kirtley, Moody, and Cheslin could start at the same time in the starting 15 for the Box? Maybe Makazoli too, says T7. So that is a lot of talent out of those four. I feel like at the moment you can only have either Kirtley or Moody, but it depends on who you play at fullback. I mean, we've seen Arinsur playing fullback for this game. So who knows? And I was on all wings, says T7. Oh, this might be... Oh, 16's going to the bin for 10 minutes. It's another yellow card. The ill discipline of the Bulls is really letting them down. Have another one of those. And Ozzy Cheslин's main position is fullback. So yeah, if Cheslin and Colby played fullback, could probably make it work with one of them coming off the bench. I don't know. I mean, would they go Moody at outside centre if Lucanio Arms out? I know that someone mentioned that a little bit earlier on in the year, or during the Rugby Championship, in fact. Bulls getting tired can be, says Dominique. And also, we've got how can you have our four wingers starting in the same game? And also, when have we seen Colby play at 15 last? When have we seen Cheslin and Colby play last? It's probably a better question because it has been some time. We've had the international rugby back for 2 years. The last time we saw him was the British and Irish Lions tour. Now, it's going to be available once again. I guess the big question is Willems are going to be the 15 or the 10 from now on for them, depending on injuries and everything. He's shown that he seamlessly transitions between both. Now, running it hard at the line, Dowling has a good crack. And also, just because he played 15 for a few games for too long doesn't mean that's his main position. You know, everyday cultures, and also laughing faces from Nathan there. Nice low tackle made by Imbros Papia. Now back across. Good carry once again. Ron Nokia has gone down. It's going to be the advantage against the Bulls here. But this time it's for a knock-on. Big run forward. Still just bulldozing their way forward, Connacht. This is good, though. They needed a few more big phases, but they need that clean out. If they don't get it right, that's going to be another one. And also, he played it for the Stormers, my guy, says D7. Now around the side, getting close. That's reached out, and Connacht have scored. That's something we weren't sure whether or not we'd see throughout this game, but it is the big number 18, Jack Unja, who was able to get his second try career tries, 3, I should say. And also, we've got the AM to hear that Valimza signed a 5-year contract extension for the Stormers with the money that our franchises in South Africa have. That's huge news. Yeah, he has locked himself in right through to, I believe it's 2027, isn't it? That is a big one for the Stormers because he, at this stage, I have to say, is only going to get better unless any injuries start to plague him, which I hope they don't, because at the end of the day, like, injuries can take years off your career. I just hope that he does keep match fit. Yes, he's had a concussion now. That's one of those ones that you don't really want. But a lot of players would take a concussion over an ACL or anything along those lines. That kick has gone over from Connacht. And now it is going to be 28 points to 5. Connacht come back, says Dominic. I mean, they've got time. 12 minutes on the clock. It's a nice bit of work, though. Straight over the ball, fell over like he was some sort of tall tree. Yeah. Now it looks like we've got a drinks break. I didn't realize. That's the thing. We're going to have a lot of drinks breaks throughout this competition, aren't we? Hey, try finally, Connacht, says Nathan. And also we have the scrum less, with the Irish Clovers there. But Mac Hansen has been doing relatively decently. His decision-making throughout this game has been a little bit off, but that is literally the case with pretty much every single player in the green today. Just haven't quite been able to find their momentum. The luck of the Irish, says not your everyday cultist. Tell you what, if they came back to draw this game, the Bulls would be kicking themselves because they're a man down at the moment. I don't believe they've actually got an active hooker on the field until we see a line out. They're more than likely, it will be Johan Roller who tries. No, Johan Roller won't be able to make his way back out there because I think he's pretty seriously injured. So they're going to have lineouts with different men playing as that number 16. I'm just looking around to see who they're going to go with, but they haven't had a lineout as of yet. It wasn't just a few games for to lose. As you go, well, now he's still experienced in it. Can showcase his talent more at 15, says T7. Because I can see the point there with the fact that sometimes out on the wing, I mean, we've seen it for Makazole Mapimpi in the last 2 games of the Rugby Championship. We hardly saw him, sadly. And he's such a talented player that if you get him the ball more, he can be effective. So, oh, that's a good shot. Yeah, who knows? Maybe playing a little bit of an attacking 15 role could suit Cheslin quite nicely. I know that Will Jordan's one of those guys that a lot of people want to see him play fullback because they want to see him a little bit more prominent throughout a game. And if that backline's not firing, you don't really see him when he's out on the wing. Similar to what we saw for Makazole Mapimpi. So yeah, who knows? Maybe they do go with a reshuffle. I see Cheslin getting himself back in the side, though, by the World Cup. Just needs some minutes under his belt to really get himself going. He can create space and use his skills more at 15 rather than just standing on the wing, says T7. The Bulls got lucky against Edinburgh. They are slipping up in the second half, not able to play 80 minutes. So he's not the everyday cultist. And it's a shame because, I mean, playing 80 minutes in South Africa, I would have thought would be their bread and butter. It seems like they just haven't quite been able to find that yet throughout the URC. It's going to be put high from Colm Riley. Nicely taken by Sebo Nkosi under the high ball. Now Hamish Quins and Chiefs games was a cracker of a game. The comeback and the Kiwi League's reaction was golds, says Nathan there. Which is why it's going to be such a hard decision to decide whether or not I'm doing Harlequins versus, I believe they're going to be playing, they are playing, I want to say Northampton. No, it's not Northampton. Oh, there's about a quadruple blow of the whistle. This might not be too good. For a player, Sibon Kosi's neck looks like it might be relatively injured. RG Snyman is injured again. I was hoping to see him in the box. And so that draw Moody out. Says it was not your everyday cultist. And also, yeah, sure. Still doesn't mean it's his main position. It's not like you can replace Lucanio Arm, who is arguably the best on-form player in the world. So, yeah, at the moment, it seems like Jesse Creel is their option at the moment. But by the time they get to that World Cup and Lucanio Arm is back, I think he'll have that midfield combination with Damien De Lende. But it's that question of what do they do until then? They've got a lot of matches coming up until Lucanio Arm's out. I believe they've got 3 at the end of November. And it's quite tough opposition. They've got Ireland, they've got France, and then they've also got someone else who I can't remember. I want to say it's a slightly lighter game for them, but I could be wrong in that department. Now, another drinks break. We only had one just before, but also with the injury of Nkosi, it does mean that they are going to be having. Okay, Sebo Nkosi seems to think he's all right. But if the referee has stopped play for you, theoretically, caught the chin in that one. I believe there was actually the number 8. And England, says Dominique, Dominique, and it's Ireland, France, and Italy, says not your everyday cultist, and also England, says T7. And there as well. But Chris Smith, he is now out on the park. Probably a little bit of a backline reshuffle that we're going to see for the Bulls throughout this one. I believe he'll go to 10. Johan Hussen might actually drop to 12, or Chris Smith might actually go 12. And then from there, they may just put David Creel out on the wing if they need to. Okay, I think they're going to be going upstairs to check this one. And they're also checking, they're going to say it's uncontested scrums due to the injury and also the yellow card. So I believe with it being uncontested, it means that the Bulls do have to sacrifice one player. So they will actually be playing with 13 on the field. That is a rule that we've seen a lot more recently. We actually saw it in the game between Ireland and Italy, I think it was, of the Six Nations. Oh, Stenkamp is off for Stenkamp. There you go. And Chris Smith, he's going to be in fly half. And actually, they're going to put Johan Hussen back to fullback. And then from there, they will go with Kurtley Arinse out on the wing. A nice little reshuffle for the Bulls backs. Marcel Kutzia just having a bit of a chat there. I think he wants them to check that one upstairs. He's got to be careful. He doesn't want to annoy the referee. So, yeah, they're just trying to work out. It's quite tricky to count to 15 sometimes for some rugby players, but trying to work out that they only need 13 on the field. You need to play 13 as the comment from the referee. And the Bulls, I think, are confused. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, they've still got 14. They need to drop a player. So the question is, do you drop it back? It looks like they are going to. No, they're not. They got to get rid of someone. Number 8's going to be going off. That's Heinrich Lohn now. I'm confused at how the players don't know this rule by now. We've seen it many times over the last year, but no one seems to know how it quite works. They weren't sure whether or not it was a prop going off. Marcel Klutz is disappointed. Easiest way to not have to do uncontested scrums is to just not get a yellow card for your hooker. So, and they do need 8 in the scrum as well. Marcel Klutz, he is confused. No. 8 in the scrum. Marcel Klutz was trying to call someone over from the sideline. It's a back who has to go in. Now he's saying to the bench, don't worry about it. We worked it out. Okay. So we're finally at the scrum. Or are we? Come on, boys. What's going on here? How have we not worked out? There we go. Arins is going to be on the flank. Probably one of the smallest flankers in World Rugby. If he wants to stay there, it's lucky it's uncontested, or else they might be on a bit of the back foot there. Right, the ball goes in. It's going to be hooked back. And now the game will continue with 10 minutes left. Chris Smith, forward pass out into the hands of Johan Horsen. They have spotted it. And it is now going to be going back for the scrum feed in favour of Connacht. So Chris Smith, his first touch of the ball has gone forward. It's Italy. And yeah, are you going to do a watch along for Ulster versus Leinster game? I was initially going to be doing either Ulster versus Leinster or Lions versus Cardiff. But with how late I got to bed before this live stream, I think I'm going to be doing my sleeping after this live stream and then doing the Bunnings NPC in the afternoon. That is the goal. And then after that, we have got the URC tomorrow night with the Stormers taking on Edinburgh, the Gallagher Premiership. I believe we are going to be covering that as well with Leicester taking on Saracens. But I will be watching that game on replay as soon as I am awake, because that will be a very awesome match. The Irish derby, got to love it. Now out the back line, McNulty goes to Mac Hansen. Tries to get the stepping going on the outside, but Lionel Poe just rips him backwards. Has to release it, though. 10 minutes left. There is still a chance that Connacht could get themselves a bonus point here for losing this game. The Bulls have just let themselves down big time for the discipline factor. Now Riley goes back across. Good attack and run from, I believe it was the number 13 there, Tom Farrell. Now back across. Riley again. Inside ball to the try scorer, Angura. Or Angia, I believe is how you say that one. I always get that slightly wrong. Ralston just threw an intercept pass. And Johan Horsen just not quite able to clean it up. He'll be disappointed with that, but it is only a knock-on rather than a deliberate knock-on. Or deliberate knockdown, I should say. So it is going to be the scrum feed for Connacht. The Bulls won't mind this too much, though. This uses up a little bit more time on the clock, which is something they will certainly be keen to do. What I'll quickly do is I'll go like this. And we'll go like this. It's actually crashed a little bit tonight on Spark Sports, so I'm going to reload it. It should be all good to go once again, but I think it might be my Wi-Fi. It doesn't like me at the moment. I think I've streamed too much over the last few months. And then now that I haven't done as many streams this weekend, it's really confused. Right, we're back down for the scrum feed. We didn't miss a single moment of the action. Mac Hansen gets it off the back of the scrum now. That was almost a forward pass. John Porch is going to go in for the try, but they might want to check that pass first. And that is nicely done. The comeback is on for the Connacht boys. Now, with 8 minutes left, they have still got half a chance in this game. They need this kick to go over, though. Okay, the referee is happy in terms of that flatness of the pass. We're going to see it again here, though. Mac Hansen got the ball, then from there, passed it across. Yeah, a little bit of a drift forward. But they might try and say it was back out of their hands, but I think they want to check this one. They sure do. This game's actually running real long. In fact, the next game was going to be starting at 7:35. By the looks of it, the next game that was kicking off at 7:35 may end up going a little bit later. And terrible second half from the Bulls. Yeah, they just haven't been able to put it all together, unfortunately, for them. Because they've got all the talent in the world. Like that lineup, I always say it. It's impressive, but You need to be able to... No try, it's a forward pass, they have just said. So they check the TMO, drifted forward, and that is going to be a disallowed try. The scrum feed will go to the Bulls. The comeback is no longer on for Connacht, as they're going to have those 5 points taken off them. But yeah, if they got that, that was only going to put them maybe one converted try away from at 1 point on the ball, which could be massive. But this live stream, I started 5 minutes before kickoff. We have been going for 2 hours, and we have only seen 72.5 minutes of rugby. So we have had about 45 minutes of half time, which was only about 10 to 15. We've had 30 minutes of stoppages throughout this game, which is really impressive for all the wrong reasons. Chris Smith, now it's going to be charged down. This time it's the try for Connacht, and they score that one between the posts, making it just a little bit easier for themselves. Come on, give me the tee. It looks like he wants to go for a drop kick. He considered for a second there, but he's waiting for the tee. And now going to be lining up. The last thing he wants to do is rush this kick, though, because it does need to go over. Steps back a little bit, still making sure he goes through the technique of going onto it. He's kicked it over, and now it makes the score 14 points to 28. So that's actually a much easier kick than it would have been otherwise. But Chris Smith, it was charged down beautifully. I believe that was Hawkshaw, and does manage to score the try. Says that scrum last there as well. Yeah, Hawkshaw getting right up. It's not very often you see a number 10 put his body on the line for a charge down. I'll say that much. He saw his chance. He went for it. And now 2 tries down. Just a little bit of time left. He can't take his time either. Says it was not your everyday cultist. 2 minutes left for the Bulls yellow card. And hey, another one try. And 28-21, says Dominique. It is currently 28-14. That last try, it was allowed, but the one before that was disallowed for a forward pass. So now it's sitting 28 points to 14. Kick downfield from Connacht. Can the Bulls break this momentum? Because currently Connacht have got it all going their way. They are sitting with 6 minutes left on the board. 7 points would get them a bonus if the Bulls aren't able to get any more points on the board. And then also 2 tries would get them a draw in this contest. Okay, the Bulls just taking a little bit more time, having a huddle. The referee has told them, let's go. And now it is going to be a line-out throw. Who's going to do it? I think it's going to be the skipper. When there's a vacancy, he steps up. Marcel Krutzia. When is the last time we saw him do a line-out throw? And that's why rugby league's the better game. Not as much stoppages. There's Nazi Williams. That one's gone in. It wasn't straight, though, from Marcel Krutzia. And now it's another chance for Connacht. And Rugby League Ain't Real Rugby says, not your everyday cultures. I'm going to see what the odds are now. So Connacht were $41 underdogs. They are now actually $36 underdogs. And a draw is $31. That is actually more than I thought it would be for a draw. At the end of the day, Connacht, they are right in this contest. If the Bulls don't stop this momentum, it could certainly cost them. And they'll be costing them quite a few points in the process as well. And if Connacht win, like WTF says, Dominique, yeah, I don't know if the win is an option for them here, but they score another try now, then they're talking. They're going to be excited. That's a terrible kick from Mac Hansen. That is shocking. You had an attacking move and you decide to just give the ball straight back. But now Hawkshaw tries to go up the middle. Luckily, the Bulls were being generous enough to give it back to them. Almost dropped on the ground. The Bulls get the turnover. Spark it up, says Nazi Williams. And there as well. I believe that time it was Kurtley Arinsa who was able to get over the ball and get the penalty. Okay, now the option for Connacht to win is no longer on the board. And also the draw has become $41. So the chances are getting slimmer and slimmer with only 4 minutes left. Johan Hussen kicks it way downfield. That is a tremendous kick. And keep pushing, lads. Here's Nathan, but he went down. Have to say, Mac Hansen, I mentioned that he's had a couple of good runs, but overall his decision-making in this game has been a little bit lackluster. He's had a lot of ones where he could have done something differently, but he wasn't able to. Don't know if it's the lack of confidence in the Connacht backline. But yeah, just many opportunities have gone pretty much been and gone for this match. Nice one. That's a good throw-in. Was that Marcel Kutzer? No, Jan Henrik Vessels is back out on the field. I was going to say Kutzer. To go from messing up the one that was 5 meters to then nailing one that went about 20. It's very impressive, but was the other man in Papier. Now goes to the short side, sells the dummy, tries to pierce his way through. Like a little pocket rocket in Papier. Currently with 3 minutes left. If you're the Bulls here, you just put phase after phase out in front. Maybe you try and score eventually, but for now, just use up some time. They've got the advantage. Perfect. Now you go for phase after phase again. You don't go for anything too crazy. Just continue using up the clock because the last thing you want is a draw in this matchup. Still available. Now it's going to be going back for the penalty for no clear release. The Bulls, they could go for the kick here, use up a minute and really secure themselves the win. They might consider going for the corner just to try and pour on that pressure a bit more. And I haven't played rugby league since COVID-19. I'm too scared. Might get COVID from players. See, here's Nathan. Well, myself and Mum, we played Rugby League Live 4 yesterday. And I do have to edit that video at some point, but that is going to be an interesting video, to say the least. A little bit of swearing in it, so the censoring will probably take a little while. But yeah, going to be fun to show you guys that one. I'm hoping to get it out before the NRL final, although it may be like a day after or so. Jan Henrik Vessels, 2 minutes left. Thrown into the back once again. It's accurate from Henrik Vessels. Andre Lowe's been shut down instantly off the back of that one. 90 seconds left on the clock. Sweet Amish says Nathan. That's going to be the advantage once again. This is actually working perfectly into the Bulls' hand. That becomes another penalty. Okay, now they'll be able to kick it for touch and do a repeat of what just happened. Okay, a very angry number 19. He's pointing at the player on the ground saying it was his fault, ref, but penalty goes against Connacht. Oh, I always get confused between the NLR and the MLR. The NLR. The net. What is the NLR? Or are you thinking NRL and MRL maybe, actually? So Major League, no, that's MLR, isn't it, for Major League Rugby? Is that round the wrong way? Or Otago, says Nathan. And I reckon last night's Tasman side could beat the Bulls side, says Nazi Williams. Don't know, they started pretty well, but Tasman are a handy enough team. Definitely if they've got full strength. You can put Will Jordan back in there, Finley Christie, etc. That's not straight. Doesn't make a person bad if they swear a bit. God looks at the heart, says Nazi Williams. I think it's just more that I will have to spend a lot more editing time on it. Because each time there's a swear word, I have to kind of do a little bit of chopping and changing. And shows how much I get confused. I guess that is a good point. Shows the confusion there. And just in from my round of golf. Great to have something to tune into, says James Cody. And yeah, the thing is, if this game had been running at normal time, more than likely it would have finished about 15 minutes ago. But because it has been running so slow, we do get to say hi to you. So hopefully your round of golf went all right. Did you find the fairway more than you found the rough? Because I normally enjoy going down the rough. Not on purpose. It's just I normally get to see a little bit more of a leisurely stroll through the trees. Sometimes I think I'm trying to hit the trees with the amount that I hit. But now, then I'll be kicking this one downfield for Connacht. Now, they cannot win this game, but they can finish this game with a bonus point if they do manage to get a converted try at this moment. Now, the next game between Cardiff and the Lions is actually kicking off in a good, I'd say about 3 minutes' time. Something along those lines. Maybe that's a good one to put the $20 multi or the $20 bonus bet that I got for myself. But Cardiff might be tough to beat. So I don't know whether or not that will be the choice. Right, the Bulls kick it into touch. That will be the game. No bonus point for Connacht. Unfortunately, no Leinster to watch along, says James Cody. Yeah, it was initially going to be on the cards, but it's a tricky one because I will have to probably sleep during the day just to make sure that I get enough sleep, seeing as I was up late last night. I think I went to sleep about an hour and a half before this live stream started. Woke up, went straight into it. Yeah, this game has been finished. 28 points to 14 currently. Decent day here in New Zealand, so I'll be sleeping during the sunny time. But, yeah, Bulls. You have to say, against the team who are a little bit more clinical, they may have found themselves losing in this matchup. But they've done well. And fair call, mate. And I was it's links. So the beach, Says James Down, please stream the Southland Stads game at 2:05. We will try our best, but we may still be asleep at 2:05. I can't guarantee anything in that department, but yeah, should be exciting. And I said, Hamish, thanks. Says Bianca, and also thank you for the stream, Hamish, the Kiwi lads. Says Scrumless there as well. I almost said Crumless, which kind of made me think of crumbed bass, which is a type of fish. Yeah, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be back tomorrow with the Bunnings NPC, or actually later today with the Bunnings NPC. We've got the URC, Edinburgh versus the Stormers a bit later on. And then also alongside that one, we have got another matchup taking place. And that is going to be Leicester versus Saracens. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. And I will see you all for the next one.